The winds have abated. They were gusting this morning. Now it's just a light puff, and we are on standby to go. Robin Gooms 2 days ago, she got this thing done on her first run. Cam and Nikolai, could Brandon Semenuk just close the door in his first run just like Robin did?
What a gift this is. Anytime you get to watch Brandon Semenuk compete in a free ride, got to take that opportunity. The fact that we have him as our first rider to drop today, I cannot imagine anybody looking away from the screen right now. This is the winningest rider in Red Bull Rampage history. He has 4 of them. He has one on this venue right here. He took a year off last year of racing rally cars. I asked him, I said, did the schedule not conflict this year? He said, full conflict. I just had to be at Red Bull Rampage. Here we go.
Brandon Semenuk.
Wow, Cam, wow.
3, 2, 1.
Brandon Semenuk, 4-time Rampage champion, and he's dropping in. Let's see how he attacks this run. Starting out with the beautiful truck driver using the single crown fork straight away. Now he's coming into this tough step down. Upside down with another combination with the backflip can. How good does he look right now, Cam?
Great extension on that flip one-footed can. Coming through with the one-footed table on that hip. Flat spin 450 on that hip, Nikolai.
Packing in the moves here. He goes to this technical shoot. See the dust there. He makes it onto the tabletop. Now he's gonna have a lot of brake control down into this section, leading into this nice hip jump. Looking super controlled. Beautiful Indy.
Here we go, Nikolai. This is the lily pad that he rode in 2019. Big question, what trick is he gonna do off it? 26 feet to that pad.
Oh my God, it's an opposite tail whip, and he gets it. The technicality there is just ridiculous.
Oppo whip, what's he got? Is he gonna complement it with something here on this step down?
Backflip tail whip, and it goes wrong, no! That is such a bummer to see. The run was coming together like a dream. As you predicted, he complements the opposite tail whip with a backflip tail whip. Listen to the support from the crowd here. I saw him absolutely lacing that backflip tail whip in practice. What do you think went wrong there, Cam?
I think that the initiation of the whip was a little bit gentle. He wasn't really rolling over a shoulder like you typically see him do on a backflip tail whip. He was pretty straight, and that tail whip just got caught at halfway point.
I mean, I think that just speaks to how overwhelming these runs are. Brandon is such a veteran at this event, such a veteran with tricks. We're gonna take a look at some replays here. This flat spin on this jump that basically goes right into a chute.
We've been wondering the last 2 weeks, what tricks is Brandon Semenuk going to choose? Revisiting a lot of features that he had built in 18 and 19 and adding new tricks like that C-Crab Indian Air on the hip. But this is the most anticipated section of the run right here. We were all wondering what he was going to do onto the lily pad.
Oh my goodness, he got a little bit rowdy there, huh? Wow.
There we go. We're going to get to see this backflip tail whip, Nikolai.
Oh my.
It just stopped halfway. You know, sometimes the arms need to be to the side. It looked like his arms were straight out in front of his face. Here we go, we get slow-mo.
Oh, the pedals kind of turn and the kick kind of goes strange.
I mean,
let's take a second to appreciate how well Brandon gets out of this. A completely botched flip whip, and he's able to get a really good crash out of it. It's amazing, actually, the composure there.
Falling out of the sky. There's no roll cage in mountain biking like there is in rally. This guy's a 4-time champ. He's been in situations like this before with mistakes in run number 1. Fortunately, the format here at Red Bull Rampage is best score out of 2 runs. So Brandon looking to fix that mistake. He's got another couple features after the one he tried to backflip tail whip. But let's talk about how difficult it is to do that trick on this big of a bike, Nikolai.
Yeah, just the tail whips on these big bikes are so different from how they are on the hardtail. The suspension, everything about the tail whip makes it so much more difficult. So the fact that he opposite tail whips onto the lily pad and then directly tries to backflip tail whip a step down, just such difficult moves.
Well, we look forward to seeing Brandon Semenuk back up to the top of the course, but with the wind low, we're going to keep this moving as fast as possible. From Spain, Adolf Silva in the gate right now. This is his third Rampage appearance.
Rider number 3, Adolf Silva. 3, 2, 1.
Big day in practice for Adolf yesterday, Nikolai. Let's see if he can grease it in the run. What are you expecting here?
I'm so fired up. I've never seen Adolf ride as good as he's been riding this whole week, just attacking top to bottom laps in practice. He goes clean off the first drop. Now he's coming into that same step down that Brandon hit as well. Also goes for a backflip. Nice and smooth there. And now the run's about to get extremely serious. He hits the hip, and now he's coming to this massive Price is Right drop. Calculating the perfect speed. He goes upside down, and he stomps it, Cam. Oh my goodness!
Going deep down that landing. It's a minimum of 60 feet point to point. A Superman over the next jump.
This run is so fast and so electric. He's coming into another massive drop here. They call it Biggie. Let's see what he gives us. Nice suicide no-hander, and he lands clean. Adolf Silva, he had a little mistake on this jump the last time he was here at Rampage.
Here we go, put it down.
Double backflip!
Come on.
Yeah. And he stomps it! I'm fired up in the booth right now. Adolf Silva stomps a double backflip at the end of the run. All these years fighting to get the run he wants at Rampage, and he gets it!
So much fire.
Fiance and mom in the finish there, celebrating with him. I can't talk right now, Cam. I'm so fired up for this guy.
Well, for good reason. In his first 2 Rampage appearances, he crashed 3 out of the 4 runs he's had. And so right now, putting this one down with the bangers that he has been dreaming about for the past year since his last 2 failed run attempts last year. And look at this, he started out with a big flip step down, but that was not the biggest step down in his run. Price is Right coming up right here. 60 feet point to point. Let's see how far down this landing he sails. A couple bike lengths at least.
Adolf was just so on it in this run, taking all the risks, going upside down
Look
4 times if you count both flips right here.
Look how deep he goes on that landing. We saw him in practice doing single flips on this jump and landing right at the top. He just came in with so much more speed, knowing that that would give him the airtime he needed to rotate both of those backflips straight to the bottom of that landing.
I respect the risk taking so much, risking it all, doing the double backflip at the end of the run.
Well, Tina's standing by with Adolf.
Yeah, and we were just looking at the replay of the double back, and you're just like, yes. Finally.
Finally, I mean, it's been a couple of years where I don't really make it to the bottom. My only goal was make it to the bottom, and we made it, so that's a win for me.
Yeah, but not only making it to the bottom, you had the flip on the Price is Right, and then that double at the bottom. What was your reaction when you landed that?
The Price is Right?
Well, both of them.
Yeah, it was just incredible feeling. I mean, it's such a huge drop, and every time I go into it, I'm scared, and I think I let go a bit too much the brakes, but I was like, just pull back and chill, and it came out around perfect, and yeah, I'm stoked.
All right, and we're looking at the score right now, an 83.5. Well done.
Adolf Silva
Solid score.
from the start gate to the finish corral. Mega run, like you say. 4 backflips in 3 features. And after 3 crashes in 2 runs last year, I like the math better on this.
This math is way better. So much respect for Adolf. He's gone through such tough times in this sport. Injuries, crashes in important runs. And I can't believe you got it done. But the next rider is in the gate, Cam.
Here we go. Tomas Genon, last year, defining the word fortitude, which if you look it up in the dictionary, it means courage in pain or adversity. He rode last year with a broken wrist. He's healthy now.
3, 2,
He's had 3 fifth places in the past. He wants on that top 3 podium. Tomas Genon on course.
Beautiful 360 landing, absolutely perfect. This guy's a veteran at this event and hungrier than ever. He's coming into this extremely technical, steep drop right here, which he had a bit of trouble with in practice. Let's see how it goes. Does he get the traction? Seems like he gets it now, coming in straight into this massive drop. A little over-rotated around the 360, but he lands it!
How did he hold on to that massive over-rotation? Come on.
Going to the flat spin. He's riding the edge in this run, Cam. No!
I can't believe he held on as long as he did. He was on the razor's edge of the left side of that landing. The bike still trying to make it to the finish corral.
That run had some electrifying vibes to it. I mean, once he comes off that steep drop, he rips straight into the massive 360 drop. Crowd giving him a lot of support right there. But the massive 360 drop that goes rowdy, and then from there it was uncontrollably rowdy, wasn't it, Cam?
You know, we get to watch a replay of that 360, and that one's going to be one for the highlight reel. Just the fact he was able to hold on. I mean, he started to derail the train way high up, but he was just so focused with his eyes up where he wanted to be. He was somehow able to hold on for as long as he did.
Well, thankfully, Tommy G looks to be up and okay.
You know, these guys work so hard over the course of 2 weeks to scout this line, to build this line. This run out is one of the most technical steep chutes we have on the hill. And this flat drop, Brett Reeder used it to victory in the pass. Look at that, just squaring up the shoulders and the hips, even though the bike was facing 45 degrees in the wrong direction. Here we go, watch how close he is to the left here, Nikolai.
Oh, this is insane. I can't believe he handles it. He gets offline and drops down onto another line and then gets kind of sent back onto the ridge.
I think
those are some really sketchy moments.
You were to go up there and look at the tire marks of where he rode, you would never be able to do that on purpose.
No, not a chance.
But I mean,
wow,
this is the guy who rode 2 runs last year with a broken wrist, not even knowing it. You got to think he's going to go find that bike and get to the top of the course to try to make the last 2 weeks worth of work pay off in second run.
Ooh,
we might want to look that bike over. Oh my!
Oh my God! It almost takes out a motor.
You got to give this guy an umbrella.
That is insane. First, let's speak a bit about how these riders do some of these tricks for the first time in the run. Because Tommy G, I saw him hitting that drop in practice, but he did not 360 it. He has to get that steep chute perfect, rail the berm, and then he has to, for the first time, try to see if this 360 works. Oh,
so what that horn signifies there is 3 minutes since Thomas Genon dropped out of the start gate. One of the rules here of the Red Bull Rampage format is you have 3 minutes to make it from the start tower to the finish corral. If you don't make it in 3 minutes, you don't get a score. Of course, the riders aren't being timed as a part of their score. The 3 minutes is the max amount of time. And so judges will give no score here, so Thomas Genon will focus all of his energy on run number 2, which is also something to remember if a rider like Bienvenido last year starts celebrating before the finish corral.
Exactly. It's a tough game to crash and then try to get up and get back to the finish.
So Jeff Gulovich knows more about the rules than anybody out here. So Jeff, what's the 3 minute rule all about?
Well, you know, you got very steep terrain here. You should be able to make it down within 3 minutes. We do have wind problems here and there all the time at Rampage, so we do need to keep this show on the road. And if you cannot complete your run in 3 minutes, unfortunately, you need to forfeit a score and look forward to your second run. We run a tight ship around here. That's just the way it is at Red Bull Rampage.
Thanks, Jeff. I mean, we've been watching the weather models very diligently, and we know we have a small window. And it's been consistent the past couple days. We've had strong winds in one direction and then a 180-degree shift in wind direction. And in the middle between those two directions, we tend to have a couple to a few hours of lulled out magic window. And that's where we are right now with the next rider to drop, gearing up in the gate. He's a 3-time winner. This is his 12th Rampage appearance. Kurt Sorge put a lip on Biggie. The big drop at the bottom, 47 feet point to point. Let's see what he has from here to there.
Starting off the run with an incredible flip on a step down, straight into a 360. So much action straight away in this run. Coming into this technical hip, another flip! Cam, this guy's packing everything into the run, isn't he?
Kurt Sorge is on. I mean, we're seeing him with huge focus now. Suicide no-hander over Price is Right.
Going massive on the suicide no-hander, looking so good. Little classic Sorge steez there on that next jump. And now, like Cam mentioned earlier, it's gonna get real serious. There's a small lip on this jump, Cam. Let's see what happens here.
Here it comes. Will he go upside down? He does! Perfect!
Wow, the execution by Kurt Sorge in this run is unbelievable.
This is classic Kurt Sorge right here, doing exactly what he needs to do to get a big score in the books.
charging down the mountain, flips, spins, style, everything. Listen to the crowd here.
Hey, he's back. Kurt Sorge riding with all the aggression you come to expect from the three-time champ and going back to the big tricks that got him those wins.
I am so impressed by Kurt Sorge right now. I know this man has won the event 3 times. I know he knows what it takes to win the event, but still so much action packed into the entirety of that run.
I mean, we got a lot of pressure on the judges right here. The score to beat is an 83.5 held by Adolf Silva. And you know up there in the Samsung Galaxy Judges Tower, they're going to be watching those runs side by side. 2 runs riding similar parts of the mountain. Look at this flip right here. I wasn't expecting that one. It was flip, 360 flip within the first 15 seconds of the run.
Incredibly action-packed start to the run, and then he calms it down here, but this drop is massive, and look at the extension on this suicide no-hander. It's just beautiful.
I'm counting 4 rotations, I believe, and some good upright tricks, like this suicide no-hander.
Lovely.
Was that off the long side, the 68-foot option off of Price is Right? I think it was.
So, yeah, you're spot on there.
So the judges will be taking a peek at that as well. As the judges work on the score for Kurt Sorge, we get a little sneak peek of our next rider preparing in the gate, Reed Boggs, a man who's been on the podium in 2021 with a 3rd place.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, buddy. Fucking insane.
So awaiting the score for Kurt Sorge. Will it beat an 83.5 and 87.16? Kurt Sorge into the lead.
Kurt Sorge takes the lead there. We know Adolf Silva had that double backflip at the bottom, but the judges seem to really enjoy Kurt's hectic top section, but we're straight into the next rider here.
Okay, here's the main thing to talk about here from our 2021 3rd place rider. He's got a feature at the bottom called the Guardian. He has not ridden it yet. It was just finished this morning. He's also heading to Price is Right. Here we go, Reed Boggs on course, Nikolai.
Beautiful 360 off the start drop. Reed Boggs is mic'd up, so let's listen in to how he's feeling during this run. Okay, this is where he has to control speed really well. You're on. Let's go.
Oh, it's perfect. Wow.
Seems very composed. He's past the gnarliest part of his run with that backflip. And here's the drop that Cam talked about, the Guardian. He's got to test it right now. Lands it perfect! That's insane!
No way! To hit a 51-foot point-to-point drop for the first time. Test it in your first run here in Red Bull Rampage. Just extra levels of stress that we can't even explain.
The composure required just to get to the drop that he didn't hit is insanity. He has to spin at the top. He has to perfectly control speed down to the big Price is Right drop, get the flip out of the way, and then wait till that drop and try to make sure he has the perfect speed to hit it, and he does it perfect. The execution in that run, Cam, that was perfect top to bottom, was it not?
He greased it, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting to see if it has enough to knock Kurt Sorge out of the top spot. Kurt Sorge's 87.16 had a whole lot of tricks. Let's look back on the run, starting with this 360 off the start drop.
Wow, that landing could not be better.
Look at this
there.
The rotation on the Price is Right backflip. Look how chill. So relaxed. Putting it down 2 tires simultaneously on the landing. And here comes his first run off of the Guardian, 51 feet point to point. You know he wants to get a trick on that. You know he's probably not going to roll the dice first time off. You got to learn about these things. Most of the riders have ticked off the guinea pigs on their biggest drops days and days ago, but this was a brand new build that his team, Alan Mandel and Liam Wallace, bit off, spent the entire build window on that massive rock wall to create that landing. Score coming in for Reed Boggs. It's a 74.66, putting him in 3rd place currently.
Okay, that's a very respectable score. The judges obviously rewarding Silva and Sorge more for more flips and rotations and stuff, but we know Reed can add to that run, and it's insane for him to get run 1 in the bag.
Next rider, pretty hard not to like this guy and get behind him. I'm sure all of our viewers on their couch at home are pulling for the Rampage rookie, Luke Whitlock, the youngster, 24 years old, relocated here to the desert. He's got a really big drop into a steep technical chute coming up after this backflip.
Wow.
I don't believe he's dropped into it yet, Nikolai. Here we go.
Amazing backflip off the start, but yes, he's now entering the chute he calls the Temple of Doom. Let's listen into what he's thinking here.
It's all about this run out.
Oh my God, he's celebrating mid-shoot. That's insane to hear. Perfect on the shoot. Big suicide no-hander on the big drop, and he lands it perfect. Luke is on. Nice little can right there. Okay, now he's creeping down. This section here gets very, very technical. Has to be perfect with his brake control.
Believe it or not, these jumps coming up are so quirky.
Hey, where we at?
Lands that. He was struggling with speed there in practice. He's almost at the end here. Come on, Luke.
Come on, Luke. Come on, Luke. Yes! Yes! Luke Whitlock in his first ever Red Bull Rampage run puts it down to the finish corral. Oh, man, you gotta love to see that.
That is incredible. He had to basically start the run with a chute that he's never rode, and he makes it top to bottom. And now he can say he's gone top to bottom at Rampage. These are incredible moments.
A working class hero is something to be. Look at this guy. His Rampage submission video showed that he was the real deal, and he just proved that there was no fancy editing. Luke Whitlock, the real deal. A Red Bull Rampage competitor from this moment on. Here we go, back up to the top with replays, Nikolai.
This backflip off the start is way more difficult than he made it look right there, just executing perfectly. And now we're just gonna zoom all the way to the end of the run. He gets this stylish looking flat spin.
It was so good looking, and man,
Beautiful.
I was on the edge of my seat hoping don't throw it away on the last jump with the flat spin 360.
That would have been a real bummer to see him throw that away, because that was so much hard work, so much composure. You can hear him celebrating in the chute. Let's effing go while he's riding the chute there.
Tina standing by with Luke Whitlock. He's got to be fired up, Tina.
Yeah, he's catching his breath. The first ever Red Bull Rampage for you. You're a rookie, and you just went top to bottom, and you just also included the chute, which you had never ridden before. How do you sum it up?
I don't even have words for it. Like you said, I haven't even ridden the chute yet. I haven't even done a top to bottom lap, and you know, it was a little windy this morning, and it was a little nerve-wracking, but it all came together, and I'm just so hyped that it did, and I just literally don't have words. I've been dreaming of this forever, and this is just the greatest feeling ever.
What has this experience been like? There's so much lead up to this event, the anxiety, the pressure, the hard work that goes onto the course, and now this. So what has the overall experience been like so far?
It's been amazing. I've been out with my two best friends building my line, and we found something we're really stoked on, and just the whole camaraderie of this event, and all the guys have been super awesome to ride with and be around, and it's one of the best experiences I've had for sure.
Oh yeah, you put on a good show. We just got the score, 70.66 for that first run.
Sweet.
Luke Whitlock trusting that all the hard work put into training after hard days as an electrician have paid off, sitting in fourth place right now with a 70.66. But the score to beat right now, Nikolai Rogatkin, belongs to a three-time Red Bull Rampage champion, Kurt Sorge. It's an 87.16. What do you make of it?
I mean, that run had so many incredible elements, you know, massive drops, tricks, speed. But who do we got in the gate now, Cam?
Luck of the draw. These two Red Bull Rampage rookies that we have in the field today happen to ride back-to-back. This from the UK, Tom Isted. He has one of the biggest gaps on the hill in the middle of the course, the BFC, the Big Effin Canyon, measuring 74 feet. He's got some moves before he gets there. Backflip off the start gap.
Amazing execution on the backflip off the start gap. I'm so hyped to see Tom Isted in this event. He's put in so much work to be prepared for this day.
He was the guinea pig of this brand new feature coming up.
Whoa.
Riding through the steeps, through the shadows. When he makes this left-hand corner, it's all gas into this gap. Here we go, Nikolai.
This is where it's gonna get really serious here.
Speed.
No!
He's not gonna have the speed.
Okay, let's see what he plans here. Talk to me about the entrance into that section, Cam.
So, what I think he's gonna do right now is hike up the hill and drop straight into this run-in so he can make it over the 74-foot canyon gap. The riders who have lined up this gap were curious if you could hit it from the hip, because there's a small margin of error. If you land a little bit offline on that hip jump, you're not gonna have the speed for the big gap. When you drop in from right here, it is full gas to make it the full distance. Yep. Also the run out, incredibly hard to slow down. This run's not over. He's going to carry on. Gully, what do you think about a run that stalls and stops? Tom Isted looks like he's gonna make this thing happen. Here we go.
Oh, here we go, Tom. Come on, this is a big confidence builder if he's able to handle this. Jumps it.
Come on, slow down.
Whoa.
Yes!
Whoa, he handles it so good. That's amazing to see, Cam.
He's got to make it to the finish corral before the 3-minute clock expires.
Wow, I can't believe how good he hit that canyon gap.
It was perfect, answering so many questions about that run out.
Controlling speed here. Good brake control by Tom.
You got the shark fin coming up, Nikolai.
Yes, he's got a very massive and technical shark fin here, and he's flipping it.
Wow,
Wow, classic Tom Isted style, and he's not going to be able to make it to the shark fin on his final jump.
I'll tell you one thing for sure. The Cornwall, UK native belongs here at Rampage. He has been charging so hard, and I know he could put that top to bottom in run number 2.
Most definitely. I feel like he got all of the good support here. I feel like he got all the kind of possible mistakes out of the way in that run. Now he knows exactly what needs to be done in run 2 to make it top to bottom clean.
Wow. Tom Isted has shown that he means business out here, eyeing up that 74-foot canyon. And that was the first time anybody's ever rolled out of that successfully. Still going for the rolled out flip on the shark fin. That could be a real heavy run and a good score if he's able to put it together next run.
Without a doubt. I mean, you hit it spot on. When we saw him ride that canyon gap before, they almost had no control with the speed on the run out, and Tom handled it really well there. So gives a lot of hope that he can get it done in run 2 in perfect fashion.
Maybe that's what he needs right there. Little couple wings for that 74-foot gap. The fact that it's just the run-in that messed it up says so much about this competition, though. It's more about the connection features than the big airs, because without perfection on these setup features, you don't have the big air.
Just such a minor mistake. Look, he just lands a bit outside and has to just climb back up. But let's look at the successful hit here. Wow, that's just pure insanity. So much speed on the run out there, straight into this flip. So hard for him to tell how much speed he has into that ridge jump, no? Another look at the canyon gap here, Cam.
Great angle for this. You see the depth of the chasm that he's clearing over. ET moment. Oh, it sounds like Tina's with Tom. Let's hear from him, Tina.
Yeah, and even just looking at that canyon gap is scary. Walk us through that moment where you had to hike back up, get enough speed, and then go and do that, hit that.
Kind of a bit annoying, to be honest, because I just wanted to do it in one fluid run, but having to go back up gave me a little bit chance to reset and go make sure I got the perfect speed. I just went about 2 feet too far into that hip and just couldn't get around the corner smoothly enough to control speed to get off that jump. I'm not willing to risk myself throwing myself off that thing. It is an absolute monster.
What made you bite off something so big with your first year here at Red Bull Rampage?
Seemed like a good idea at the time. I wouldn't go that far now, but I'm glad it worked. I'm glad I could actually stop. The last 2 times I've hit it, I've had struggle stopping, but managed to get it under control this time, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. 50.53 for your score.
Yeah, it is a big success, you know, considering how hard it is to work on linking these features. And as long as the wind holds out, we'll see him back at the top of the course. But right now, we're anticipating our next rider. It is going to be the local boy, the rider who was on the podium in his first 2 Red Bull Rampage appearances, 2017 and 2018. 2018 was here at this venue, so he's no stranger to this joint. He bowed out of the competition last year and said, you know what, I think I'm over this. And then after cleaning up some vomit in a car from his car detailing business, he said, I'm gonna give this Red Bull Rampage thing another shot. And he was the first rider in practice to be painting top to bottom runs early in the week.
Rider number 9, Ethan.
Yes, indeed.
Nell. 3, 2, 1. E-boys, have fun.
All right, here we go. Ethan Nell is back, and he's looking better than ever. Nice and smooth off that first flat drop, and now he's coming into this step-down feature, controlling speed, pulling back, gets the flip money. Now he's into this hip before the price is right. Flat spin on the hip. We haven't seen a trick there yet. Okay, so he has a little bit of a different line here in the Price is Right zone. He's gonna do this canyon gap, and this speed, he says, is so hard to control.
Oh.
Whoa!
He was fishtailing into that.
Now this nice, stylish hip, and now he's gonna control speed into another drop.
47 feet point to point here on the one they nicknamed Biggie. What's he got for us?
He pulls back. Perfect! Ethan Nell is back like he never left, looking money. Wow.
There it is. Trademark Ethan Nell style in that flat spin 360.
So much confidence and such good execution in that run. Yes, Ethan.
Soak it up, Ethan.
His family is there supporting in the finish. They're probably so fired up to see Ethan back here and, more importantly, safe at the bottom with a nice run, huh, Cam?
I mean, cleaning vomit out of the floor of a car is way easier, but I don't think it's as gratifying as this right here. He worked so hard to get back. Came into the competition off of the alternate list after Emil Johansson announced he had an injury and was going to take the year off to recover. And like you say, Nikolai, Ethan looks like he never left.
Absolutely doesn't look like he ever left. He's just executing perfectly, getting a little fishtaily, like you said there, but handling it. That flat spin is technical. We don't really see any other riders tricking that feature, so sick to see him throwing his classic E-boy flatty on there.
Look how much fishtailing there was here. I mean, judges are gonna like that.
Yeah, absolutely, handling it, getting rowdy.
Yeah, it wasn't out of control fishtailing. It was almost like he was a big mountain skier just kind of slashing turns to adjust speed. And this right here, years ago, he threw his run away on his bread and butter, the flat spin 360, but it was perfect. Trademark look over to the crowd. What will the score be for the local boy, Ethan Nell?
We saw Kurt Sorge get rewarded highly for his backflip on the big drop as well, so that we know the judges are going to love that.
So,
compare some runs here.
Gully, we can see that you guys are comparing some runs there in the judges' tower. What's going on?
Yeah, Cam, the judges are really looking at Adolf's run and Ethan's run side by side. They both just had pure aggression down the mountain, lots of flips, lots of amplitude, and they are just peeling these apart. Honestly, I think Ethan was charging just a little bit faster, a little more comfortable in his terrain, but the raw aggression of Adolf and double flips, things like that, taken into account, you really need to put these two together. So we've got the split screen going. These guys are glued to it right now. The conversation is deep, just waiting for them to come to a final decision.
And Jeff, is this the exact feed that the judges are looking at right now? So we can kind of assume that they're thinking about whether or not to slot him into either second or third, because they're comparing it with Adolf's run, which is the current second place run?
Exactly. This is the same view that you guys have. They're glued to it right now. They're deep in discussion. I'm eavesdropping. I'm invading their privacy. And
I love the foreshadowing. Thank you, Jeff. So the score of Adolf Silva is 83.5. The score to beat is 87.16. But we got a little insight into where the judges are debating to slot Ethan Nell into right now. And the judges as well have a 3-minute window before they have a deadline to put in their score, because as you know, we got to keep the show rolling right now while the wind is good.
It's a tough job for the judges. 3 minutes is not too much time. We could debate about these runs for hours.
Well, the fans online will debate about it for weeks, and you got to get it right in 3 minutes.
Indeed.
No pressure. But this is an esteemed panel of judges. I mean, between all of them, they're all former Rampage competitors. They have 15 Red Bull Rampage appearances collectively. Jeff, what else you got for us?
It looks like they have come to a decision. They are very confident about it. They've compared these two runs side by side. I don't know if you guys have given the score yet, but I think it is where it should be.
All right, well, Golovich likes the score. What's it going to be? An 82.33 into podium contention for a man who's got the bronze medal 2 times in the past. Safe to say Ethan Nell is back and belongs.
Sick to see that score coming in. Interesting to see them putting Ethan right behind Adolf, meaning they rewarded Adolf there for that double backflip in the end.
You got to think about the Price is Right flip as well.
True that.
But here we go. Next rider in the gate, Tyler McCaul. Happens to be my brother, but also happens to be a resident of nearby Tokerville, Utah. Tyler McCaul has had a 5th place at this venue. He's had 4 5th places. He will be lining up to that 74-foot canyon gap, nicknamed the BFC, the Big Friendly Canyon. Same one we saw Tom Isted ride moments ago, 2 riders ago. What he's doing right now is taking a look at the flags. Let's listen.
Let's check in the wind again. Tyler McCaul, so experienced at this event. Oh, let's listen in.
We have these flags planted all around the course. The riders use them to gauge not only the wind speed, but the wind direction all the way down their run. We like to see the flags not filled with air. We like to see them pointing straight to the ground. Right now you see that flag pointing headwind to the canyon gap where you need all the speed you can get. I think Tyler learned some from watching Tom drop first. As the luck of the draw, they pick number plates out of a basket to determine run order.
On the canyon.
His wife Skylar, 1-year-old son Ripley, hanging out in the finish corral.
Tyler just checking wind for that canyon gap. How it's so exposed and so almost impossible in the wind. So he's got to make sure he drops in the best window possible, huh?
He needs to drop in the best window possible. We have the luxury of being able to see wind speeds. There's a weather station at the top. 4 mile per hour constant, 6 mile per hour gusts. He's feeling it. He's getting wind checks from down below. Salema, what are you seeing?
Tyler.
Well, I'm up here mid-ridge, guys, and you can really feel these gusts of the direct headwind, and I'm wondering how it will affect him on the gap.
Here we go, he's on course, flipping off the start drop, Nikolai.
Beautiful backflip off of the start there, looking so dialed in. And he's creeping into this next section.
Here we go, a big drop to set up here. Suicide no-hander on this.
That downhill takeoff, that's incredible. And now it gets really serious.
He's smooth into the hip. Is he gonna have the speed? He's gotta jump as far as he can here. Perfect, now he's gotta slow down.
Whoa, he went massive and he controlled the speed so good. I can't believe this.
Oh, man.
Okay, he's going over the same jump that Brandon did the Indy over. Classic T-Max these, and now we have another massive drop coming up.
The triple dipper, 44 feet point to point. Perfect.
No way.
Another opportunity for a big trick here. I know he wants to get rotating on this final trick jump. What's he got for us? Backflip, knack-knack.
Whoa, so stylish, and he stops it.
Yes.
Let's check for the end here. He said he was going to send it over mini Rampage.
Here we go, he's not dead yet.
Yes! No way. There were so many points in that run where he had to be perfect, and he hit everything on the mark.
My.
Cam, tell me how you're feeling right now.
This guy right here knows what he's doing. Yep. There's something to be said for living and breathing this type of riding. He lives out here in the desert for this reason. Top to bottom runs at Red Bull Rampage. Celebrating with friends and family. Not sure if Ripley realizes how rad his dad is. Wow. So we're celebrating, but we got to get down to business here. There's a score to be had.
And it's going to be a good one, I think, because this run was incredible. Starting off with the backflip with a bit of a tabletop up to start.
Look at that. You know what? I wasn't sure if he was going to take the hands off on this drop either. And no, that's
this
the
is
triple
the triple dipper here.
That was his biggest feature back in 2018 and 19. And as with every rider when they're coming into the final jump, you go, don't throw it away here. He wanted a backflip knack-knack. He got a backflip knack-knack.
Perfect execution. And Cam, you're right, that suicide no-hander up top off that drop. Oh no, now we're gonna look into the canyon gap, the most vital part of the run.
Up and over the canyon. He went so deep and made it look easy to slow down. We've seen clips from practice know that it's not easy. Yeah, the amount of times these riders visualize these runs, and when it goes to plan, there's nothing like it. So Jeff Gulovich in the Samsung Galaxy Judges Tower. I'm curious who they have in that split screen. Whose run are they comparing this one to, Jeff?
You guys are going to love this. They're comparing directly to first place, Kurt Sorge right now. That was possibly the best run I've ever seen from T-Mac. I don't even know what to say. The judges are losing their minds right now. Give me a quick sec. I think they're plugging it in. Hold on to your socks because they might blow off.
I like the sound of that, Jeff. So the score to beat held by Kurt Sorge is an 87.16. This year having the ability to peel back the curtain and see whose run they're comparing the current run with. It sounds like the score is coming in for Tyler McCaul. What's it going to be? A 90.66! You have a new leader, Tyler McCaul, into the hot seat. Tina's with Tyler.
Yeah, well, Tyler is here celebrating, and I just overheard him say, I've never done that. How close was that run to what you had envisioned for Red Bull Rampage?
Very. Feels fake. It's just like, feels like we've been out here for months. Like, crew's been slaving away, best crew. I owe everything to them. And man, I've been close many years. I don't think I've ever had a score in the 90s, any slopestyle years, any Rampage. And just can't really believe that. That's pretty cool.
The look on your face when you saw that score was just complete surprise.
It's been a long time. I was on crutches for Rampage last year. I had to get a fusion in my ankle. People were saying that that would be it. And 8 months off the bike, rode through summer out here. It's hot, it's hard, but I was extra motivated, and this guy motivates me, and I'm very happy.
Okay, we're gonna pull up the, we're gonna look over here, the screen. We're gonna pull up some of your runs so you can take a look at this.
Yeah, this hip is just all about the setup for the canyon. You can't get it wrong. And I was going a little fast, so I hit my brake last second and went really far. And then this crux right here. Tom successfully rode out of the canyon for the first time ever this morning. I was really worried about that link. It comes up really quick, that wall on your left. And then I just knew we were on a good one and just had to make it down. So I scrapped one trick because I felt wind in the little valley before the hip, but it felt fun. It kind of reset me, and then had to go full speed into the finish because you always got to land hard at Rampage.
It just seemed like you hit all the right points perfectly.
Thank you.
Let's go back to last year because we spent some time talking and you were still injured. Just to go from that, was there any doubt in your mind that you would be back here at Red Bull Rampage?
No, I In my mind, I was coming back because that motivated me to come back stronger and forced me to recover quicker. And I needed that motivation to just get through the hard times. It was 6 weeks after this guy was born. So thank you to my beautiful wife, Skylar, for putting up with that while I was on crutches for months. And it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
Well, what a show to be back here at Red Bull Rampage. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Good show, good show. I know how much hard work went into that. Big score there, 90.66, but we have a lot of action here to come. The bar has been raised. We're continuing to ramp things up here. What will the story be as we get a peek at the top of the course and our next rider loaded into the gate? He has had a second place here at Red Bull Rampage. That was in 2022. He has a lot of tricks planned for this run. He's heading to Price is Right, the 68-foot takeoff. Expect to see a lot of rotations. Here we go.
Nails the front flip flat drop off the start. What a risky way to start the run. Szymon Godziek hungry for a win today. Okay, he goes off the finger, controlling speed. He's been going massive on this.
Here we go, Price is Right. Oh!
Beautiful execution, flipping the Price is Right.
So floaty.
Okay, we're not done yet, though. I think he's got a step-down flip coming up right here with the tabletop. Nails it, and now we have another big flat drop incoming. Some nice style. Hopefully the speed can be controlled. 360.
Yes!
It's perfect!
Oh, expect something big here on this trick jump, Nikolai.
Don't take your eyes off right now. 1, 2.
Wow!
With the extension in the middle of the double flip. There were so many difficult points of that run, and he nailed every single one. What is going on, Cam?
Talk about executing on your dreams right here. We've seen run after run with these plans coming together. It's absolutely incredible. We knew this was going to be a good one. This is shaping up to be iconic.
I am in disbelief right now. Talk about the risk, starting the run with the front flip on a flat drop. Just listen to this corral here. Look at this celebration. Starting the run with the front flip flat drop, and then ending it with the double backflip, extending in the middle.
I mean, he went to the moon on that double backflip. We've seen he has his own extended lip on the rider's right side that goes taller and steeper, sending him into orbit for that double backflip. But back up to the top now for some replays, starting off with his flat drop front flip.
Front flip on a flat drop has to be executed so perfectly. The landing of it is so aggressive, especially off that steep drop off the top. Now he's controlling speed, looking stylish, looking controlled, looking dialed.
Nikolai, we had a feeling that this event was going to be one for the books, and the judges would have their hands full just with how consistent all the riders were in practice. We have an idea of what the plans are, and we're seeing these plans just go flawlessly.
It's just incredible to see. I think Szymon did not do the flip on Price is Right or the spin in practice, just saving them for the run and executing perfectly.
Look at how much he stalled out after the first flip.
Gosh.
He landed front tire first on that double flip, but not in an out of control way. It was in like a planned and precise way. You see him look at the landing and give himself an idea of how fast he needs to flip that second one. Somebody's been practicing a whole lot.
Without a doubt, showing he's the elite double flipper with a spot in the middle. Can't believe the emotions he must be experiencing, especially after last year's mishap.
Tina, another moment of jubilation in the finish line corral, am I right?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, all the fans are here, too, celebrating as well, because that run, Szymon starting out with a front flip, and then just take us through the rest of the run, because it was packed with difficulty, nonstop.
After that front flip, everything started going, and the flip on the Price is Right, that was my first one ever on this one. Felt insane, as my friend Reed told me, just pop and chill, and I chilled in there, and the feeling was insane. And then I did the 360, and I was like, whoa, it's really happening, and then double flip worked out, and I couldn't believe anymore.
to come back after, you know, a fall last year at 2023 and be able to put a run together like that, how redeeming is that?
It feels awesome. Last year, I was already going for my dream run. Unfortunately, I had that crash. And I'm so happy that it happened this year, that I could stomp it. Couldn't be better.
All right, well, we are just getting the scores, but you are the new leader.
Am I? Yes!
Wow. 91.66 for Poland's Szymon Godziek. And we have a real competition on our hands. Thank you, Tina.
Wow.
What is it like to be the next rider to drop after those previous runs? From Nell to Tyler McCaul to Godziek. And now we will have a rider in the start gate who's been making waves online, testing one of his brand new features close to the bottom of the course. A feature that has yet to be completed successfully. Somehow, one of the toughest riders in the field is up at the top of the course, looking to go top to bottom and ride this feature successfully for the first time in his run. Bienve Aguado Alba. This will be his third Rampage appearance. You remember him from last year. He won the Best Trick and the People's Choice Award. He front flipped the Canyon Gap. It was good enough for 8th place last year. A lot of people had some stuff to say about that. And now Bienve has something to do about that. An opportunity to do better than 8th here, but he's gonna have to ride that gap at the bottom, 58 feet point to point. He was about 55 feet a couple days ago.
Yep.
He knows the speed now. Here we go, let's listen in.
Bienve Aguado. 3, 2, 1.
Bienve Aguado Alba dropping into this run with a nice backflip off the start. He's gonna charge hard in this run. He's gonna come off this technical drop into a very steep zone here. Let's see if he can get the traction. Controls it very well, and now he's into a big drop.
What's he got
Pedaling
to flip
before,
this?
big flip. Whoa, been over-rotated, but he hangs on. Oh, no. Okay, that was an incredibly savage crash. Hopefully Bienvenido is okay. Oh, he's up.
Wow.
You just can't knock this guy down.
What a gladiator here.
What?
Huge crash, the second huge crash in 3 days for this gladiator, Bienve Aguado Alba. I haven't seen him flip that drop yet either.
Nope. That was definitely his first time flipping that drop, and it's crazy how he had to slow down and then take a pedal before it. And he had to rip the flip real hard and just did it a bit over-rotated, unfortunately.
We have a variety of different types of gaps out here. I would categorize that drop that he just backflipped as one of the drops that has a lot more down than out in the dimension, which means it's easy to overshoot, especially when you're coming in a little bit hotter to generate the rotation on that backflip. He went pretty deep, landed a little bit over-rotating, which means probably grabbing the rear brake
Definitely.
to keep himself from looping out. I think he went offline to the left there. I'm sure we're gonna see a replay.
There's just so little time to correct your mistakes out here, you know? A little over-rotated, sent him a little offline, and then you have no time to correct and get on your line.
Well, so good to see him pop up. I mean, he went out of frame going pretty fast into that ravine. Here we go, here's that replay, Nikolai.
So the flip is looking good, but just back wheel heavy here, big head smack. And then, oh my gosh, that's actually so gnarly. I mean, obviously Bienve gets up like it's nothing, but that was so gnarly.
You're right, look at that crank right there. I mean, that brings back memories to when he backflipped into the run into the Canyon Gap a year ago. This is a much bigger drop though. I'm wondering, you know, he's still on his bike. I don't think he's gonna try to ride down from here. Do you, Nikolai?
I don't think so. I think Bienve is definitely a bit in pain from the Canyon Gap crash. And He built a little bit of confidence, being able to do the first part of that run right there, but I think he's gonna just put all the cards on run 2 and see if he can make this miraculous top to bottom happen.
Yeah, I say we assess the body and the bike right now. You see Terry Cox blowing the horn, telling Bienve that that is the 3-minute mark. Time to either focus energy on run number 2 or call it good. This guy's had a rough 3 days.
Without a doubt. This guy is such a warrior. I can't believe his resilience, his perseverance, and his determination. It's inspirational, honestly.
I was going to say, knowing the personality of Bienve, I would not be surprised to see him back up to the top for run number 2. We have 6 riders to go here in run number 1 of Red Bull Rampage 2024. The top 3 looks like this: Kurt Sorge, Tyler McCaul, and the leader of the pack right now, Szymon Godziek from Poland. The score to beat a 91.66. Riders yet to drop. Names like Kyle Strait, Talus Turk, Brendan Fairclough, Carson Storch, Tom van Steenbergen, and your defending champion, Cameron Zink. Plenty of action to come here. Well, if you're wondering who the next rider to drop would be, this is a little hint right here. A rider who's going to be dropping into his 17th finals run at Red Bull Rampage. He's been here for every single one of them since 2001. He only missed dropping into finals 1 year. It's technically his 18th Rampage, but we're going to count when you drop in for your finals run. He's a 2-time champion as well. Get a load of that. He won in 2004. He won again in 2013. He won the Toughness Award last year after returning from injury. He embodies this event. And you see him right now, the first time out of those 17 starts, riding a bike with a single crown fork, meaning the door is open for tricks like tail whips, which is what we saw Brandon Semenuk dabbling with, who was our first rider to drop. Kyle Strait, the veteran of all veterans when it comes to Red Bull Rampage, the man with the most experience. He will be pointing that single crown rig to Price is Right and into the same bottom section as our current leader, Szymon Godziek. He has a little bit taller takeoff to the drop that we saw Godziek 360. I'm curious to see what Kyle's got up his sleeves with this single crown fork, if he's going to use it here in run number 1.
Very curious. I don't know, bar spins, tail whips, he can obviously do both. Let's see where and what move he chooses on that single crown.
You know how, I mean, he won the Toughness Award last year for obvious reasons because he came back from huge injury the year prior, being helicoptered out of the venue. People said, oh, he's not going to come back. He did. Absolutely stomped his run last year, but we know he's strong. Somebody had a grip meter passing around the athlete tent, and of course, Kyle Strait had the strongest grip. And he can whip a bike around like none other, even a big downhill bike. So it's going to be fun to see what he does with this single crown fork. But it's not going to change the size of his run. He's still going to be going off the biggest features here, like Price is Right. Kyle Strait on course.
Starting off with a 360 drop. That's a rare one from Kyle, isn't it?
Looks so chill as well.
Yes, attacking the run with so much confidence. He's going to go off the finger and into the Price is Right. Brake control, which he is elite at.
Elite.
Controlling speed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The classic straight Sui, no one better.
Whoa! Yeah, come on now.
Oh my gosh.
Rodeo.
I don't know how he saved that. Those were some rowdy moments.
I give him extra points for riding out of that. Here we go into the trick jump now.
See what he's got here.
Backflip suicide gets it. Yes, Kyle.
Wow.
Is he already at the finish line? It seems like he just dropped in.
Yes, indeed. The speed during that run was insane. Nice inward table there, and he's through.
A top to bottom run here in run number 1 for the 2-time champ, Kyle Strait.
Shaking his head a bit, through the finish line. You know you wanted more, but I actually was not expecting the tail whip where it happened, were you?
That was hands down my favorite moment of that run. I can't wait to see a replay of that. But right now, Kyle Strait soaking it up with wife Rachel, baby daughter Stevie. She's been ripping around this venue on her stay sick for the past week or so. Of course, Kyle's dad Jeff on site, cheering him on once again. 23 years ago, the youngster Kyle Strait dropped in, still the youngest competitor to ever drop in to Red Bull Rampage. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Stevie out there in the women's category at some point. What do you got for us, Tina?
Oh, Stevie's just congratulating her dad of that run, but it was rowdy. That thing was rowdy. What was your perspective up there?
Honestly, it's always rowdy out there. I mean, with all the tension we have in the wind delays, it's you feel good in the morning, and then all of a sudden you just, all that built up energy and stress and all that, it's tough to finally drop it when it's time. That was wild. Yeah, anyway.
Rampage, you know, it's in your DNA, but you continue to innovate yourself.
Well, I guess, once again, I don't think the internet thinks that, but I always try and enjoy myself and do what I think that is awesome out here.
Let's talk about that save. You know, from our perspective, we're like, is he going to continue on? Is he not? What was that like for you? Or was it just, I got to just save this?
Oh, man. Well, obviously the problem is that there's a drop right after it, and if you're not in control, there's a massive cliff to the left as well. And then somehow, you know, when you just keep teching those boxes and you're like, well, okay, I guess I'll just keep going. Yeah.
As you continue to do. Thanks so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
All right, Gully, judges with some work to do, am I right?
Yeah, you bet. They are comparing the runs with Reed Boggs and a couple of the other guys. A lot of trick diversity in there, massive saves. Kyle Strait really had it all. You know what, throwing a tail whip in there, holding that together, that's something we haven't seen from Kyle before. Like, I never would have imagined he'd be running a single crown fork. Spinning drops, not really his forte, so that was very exciting for us. And honestly, we're looking at the tail whip to save right now. Like he was saying, there's a lot of exposure on his left side. Finding his pedals right before that drop, holy smokes. He had me on the edge of my seat. I wasn't even using it. All right, man, back to you, Cam.
Well, I'm not going to let you get away that easy. That's actually what I was going to ask you about. What do you think the balance is here between deducting for not getting pedals on the tail up or adding for saving, getting those feet back on the pedals before that next little drop?
That's a fine line to judge. You know, he did hold it together. He actually looked very composed in the way he was dealing with his pedals. You saw him look down briefly, recalibrate, get those pedals, and the score is going to show exactly what the judges thought right here.
I think it's coming in, Jeff. Here we go. A 78.66 for Kyle Strait, moving into 6th place, right ahead of Reed Boggs. So Kyle Strait slotting in right ahead of Reed Boggs and behind Ethan Nell.
Okay.
Good job for Kyle Strait putting that one to the finish line. I love seeing him do that backflip suicide no-hander again at the bottom as well. All right, no rest for the wicked. We got more runs for you. This man, in his 2nd Red Bull Rampage appearance, in his rookie year just a year ago, he took 5th place. He's the youngest in the field at 22 years of age. Hailing from Bellingham, Washington, this is Talus Turk.
Talus is such an incredibly confident rider in this zone.
Rider number 14, Talus Turk. 3, 2, 1.
He's dropping in. Let's see what he's got for us. See where he goes here off the start.
Nice.
Very nice. 360 off the first flat drop, getting it started in an amazing way. See where he goes here. Whoa, a bit of a crazy pull there on that step down backflip, but he lands it. Stylish tabletop on the hip there, huh, Cam?
Absolutely. They breed him stylish in Bellingham, Washington. He relocates down here to Virgin, Utah for the winter season, so no stranger to the steep terrain that he's tackling right now.
Whoa, that chute looked technical right there.
Whoa,
right into
deep.
a jump, straight into a flat drop. This part of the run is hectic. Nice flat spin on that ridge jump, coming up a bit short, but handling it perfectly.
Such a hard jump to gauge speed for.
Controlling the brakes here, the traction.
This has to be one of the driest conditions we've had out here. Oh!
Okay, let's see if he can handle it after the case. Yes, he can. He's keeping it going. Almost at the end here. One last trick on the money booter. And that's a switch pull on the flat spin there, and he lands it. Top to bottom for Talus Turk.
Way to go, Talus Turk. A well-rounded run. A couple spins in different directions, some steeps, some technical connection features. And there we go. 2 years at Red Bull Rampage and showing consistency, able to make it to that finish corral every single time. Look at that backflip, Nikolai.
Yeah, a bit of a crazy pull on that flip, but he lands it perfect. And straight into this stylish table on this hip here.
So, all the criteria here, the judges looking for line choice. We got some steeps. Maybe not the steepest, but still so rowdy, especially coming into these jumps up here on the ridge where he went long. And this jump is notoriously hard to gauge speed for. We saw Genon go off track on this jump. Talus Turk coming up just a little bit too short, but it might have even helped him control his speed here, just slowing him down a little bit before this dusty ridge line. And good spot here, Nikolai. If you think back to what he did to start the run and what he did to end the run, nice bookend.
Most definitely. Talus showing so much confidence throughout that run, and just like makes it look like he's making it happen in such a perfect way out here. He's so experienced in this zone, and yeah, hopefully he has some more for run two, because I think he does.
He could clean it up a little bit. That middle section, right before the final trick jump, we've seen so many riders throw it away. We saw him case that jump real hard. The judges are definitely looking at where the tires end up on all of those landings. But in terms of putting it to top to bottom with some tricks, it's gonna be a 72, good enough for 8th place. Slotting in right behind Reed Boggs there.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll take it top to bottom, but there's stuff to improve on in that run. I know Talus was 5th place last year, and he's hungry for an even better result.
You think about it, Talus Turk slotting in ahead of Luke Whitlock there, so judges liking it. But the man to beat at the moment from Poland, Szymon Godziek. Got Kurt Sorge holding down 3rd place, Tyler McCaul into 2nd place with 4 riders left to go and some big names. We're getting into the part of the order that is running reverse from results from last year's event here. Talus Turk was 5th place last year. Now we have Brendan Fairclough, a fan favorite, who placed 4th last year, revisiting a line that mountain bike fans all over the world absolutely love, a line that features the rock feature. He nicknamed it Dwayne Johnson way back in 2018 and 2019. 24 feet off of that rock. This year, instead of rolling up it, he's got a tall and steep kicker. He's jumping up to it. And in true Brendan Fairclough fashion here in his 7th Rampage appearance, he has a very unique line. In some instances, kept very raw as well.
Yes, Brendan Fairclough, AKA Brendog. He's always a fan favorite here at Rampage, and this line is sick. Can't wait to see this.
Just enjoy the bike control here on these top steep sections. His own unique path coming into this chute.
This gets so technical here. Cannot believe it. Wow.
Feel right.
Oh my gosh, how does he make that look easy? That's just incredible.
Here we go. Next feature is going to be that rock. You can see it on the left side of your screen now.
This jump into the rock is very tough to get perfectly, and he nails it.
It's like Trials Moto.
And he nails that as well. Brendog is so incredibly on it right now.
Okay, Nikolai, we have that canyon gap coming up, but he's got a new lip here.
Oh. Suicide no-hander. Oh my gosh.
Who needs those brakes?
It's loose out there, but he is controlling it. Like Cam said, we're approaching this canyon gap. Here we go.
Oh!
Flips the canyon gap and lands it perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Does not put a foot down. Here we go. Coming into a drop that Jordy Lund had started building back in 2018. Brendan finished it. Let's see if he can put it to the landing.
The legendary George shoot executed to perfection. Now I think he has a nice trick jump here.
I think he wants a flip rotation here. A flip variation, I should
Back
say.
flip, perfect.
I think he wanted to get a foot off there, but another back flip.
And I think Brendog is through to the finish line here.
Wow, it came
Incredible
together.
work, top to bottom.
If you've been following his build on YouTube, Ollie Wilkins, Ben Deacon, so entertaining, creating this line, and they have to feel so good for their boy here, who made it happen in run number 1.
Brendog and his team always create such a unique line that gets talked about so much on the internet as a lead up to the event. He's just such an entertaining rider to watch in all aspects, and he displayed it right there.
So fun to watch this guy ride a bike. A World Cup racer through and through, but now, you know, one of the favorites at Red Bull Rampage, a veteran, 7th Rampage. He's got to collect himself. Here we go, look back, Nikolai.
So it's so steep and technical up top in this section right here. I don't know if any video can ever do this justice. It's just so narrow. Look at the brake control coming in, making sure he has the traction.
Right here, he kept it so raw. Scouting out the lines earlier in the week, I said, well, where is he going to go here? Did they not finish the line? Like, no, he's just going to ride right down through the rough, unbuilt stuff, which I know the fans love at home.
If you go too left jumping onto the rock, things are so wrong.
Here we go, channeling moto trial skills here. He was definitely concerned with coming up to the rock with too much speed, so they intentionally built it with a steep lip, so he had minimal speed once he slapped that back tire down. And then flipping the canyon. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nikolai, I don't think that he flipped that in practice, did he?
He definitely did not.
Nope.
So that's incredible to see. And just the execution throughout was insane.
Jordy Lund's drop here, finally finished. Good to see that one being ridden here in 2024. He had another backflip and then smooth into the finish, Tina.
Well, Brendan, we got to talk about that line, and what is the significance of that line that you built to you?
You know what? We wanted to get that drop for Jordy done, so we got it done. That means a huge amount. Also, like, we had a complete line from top to bottom, so that means a huge amount as well. Like, maybe not to the judges, but like to us, we wanted to do it. We've done it every year, so yeah, I'm stoked. Can't do much more. So wherever we are, we're at. So yeah, I just want to have a big shout out to my wife Hannah, my little one Phoebe, and Tallulah.
Thanks so much.
Great to see Brendan successful out here yet again. Always puts on a show, and like he says, his own line, top to bottom. A 76 is the score, slotting into 7th place, right ahead of Reed Boggs, right below Kyle Strait. Hey, that's kind of tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, we're hearing some boos from the finish crowd right now, which means the fans really like Brendog's run. But like we have talked about this whole day, this competition is just insane. The level is as expected and even more. We're throwing it to Gully now.
Tough to compare, right? I mean, why would we try to speculate when we have Jeff Gulovich in the judges' tower listening in? What's up?
That's an extremely difficult one. It's almost the Fairclough symptom. He makes things look too easy. We all know the go paths he's cruising along, the rocks he's jumping on. His brake control is just outstanding. I want to see him on top of the steps. I don't know what he needs to add to it to make this happen, but the guy's on fire, bolted his run together. He makes it look too easy. I don't know what else to tell you.
Is it that, or is it that we're comparing it to, you know, backflips off of like 70-foot step downs and double backflips? It's a lot to juggle. It's not just him making it look too easy, which he obviously makes everything look effortless, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just need to revert back to the 3 A's, amplitude, amplitude, amplitude. And scoring with super technical lines, riding along goat paths with exposure, sometimes doesn't hold up to a backflip over a 55-foot drop.
All right, I'll take that, but I want to hear what Salema has to say. What's up? How does it feel up there, the energy on the hill, Salema?
Oh, well, I can tell you that the crowd was definitely angry. The boos were loud, they reverberated through the canyon, and I think it's because they appreciate the exposure and the risk that Fairclough rides with, that reckless abandon, and that's what gets people fired up. But they were loud and wanted the judges to know exactly how they felt.
Do you think they built the Samsung Galaxy Judges Tower high enough to where nobody can reach it if they're throwing tomatoes?
Luckily, the Judges Tower is just far enough. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a charge, if they charge across at some point.
It's out of tomato range. All right. We have another rider in the gate, Nikolai.
Yep.
And he's the rider who was on the podium last year in 3rd place. He's been in 3rd place 2 times. One of those times was in 2016. The other was last year, 2023. He's riding a similar line, a great line, or a line that really uses the mountain in a unique way. It has a big trick drop toward the bottom, leading into a trick jump. That trick drop measures 44 feet, same one we saw Kyle Strait take right before his backflip suicide no-hander. Carson Storch out of Bend, Oregon, now a Red Bull Rampage veteran. Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, Storch dropping in. He knows exactly what he needs to do to win this event. Starting off with the perfectly executed 360 drop, one of the best in the game at that move right there.
Look how execution is one of those categories that he thrives in.
Okay, now he's traversing over to this unique section he has all to himself. A very technical step down, and he's flipping it.
Yes.
Let's see if he can get the traction. Controlling speed so nicely into the berm.
Aggressive through that berm.
Oh, that's the jump that sent him off a cliff earlier in the week in practice. Gets over that one.
All right, coming into the business end of this run here.
Whoa.
Yes. Here we go, big spin. Oh, he holds on.
Completely rowdy on the spin, but he pulls it.
Come on, Carson.
He holds on to the flat spin, and he's celebrating already with the fist in the air. Cam, how did he hang on to that spin?
Oh, man, strength, Nikolai. Pure strength.
Wow, I was expecting something to go there, but he's made it to the bottom.
You know what? The amount of torque he had to withstand over rotating that 360, the tire stayed on, unlike years ago. When we watch a slow-mo replay of that, it's going to look so wild. He managed to keep his shoulders and his eyes square with where he wanted to be. Hug from girlfriend Taylor there. Mom Trisha, best bud there. Matthew Oatmeal.
Just a master of the 360 drop. Only Carson could hang on to something like that and just make it happen. That was so impressive.
Man, I'll tell you what, he has a drop that he practices in his yard. His yard's pretty flat, so he's got 3 shipping containers stacked on top of each other with an extension, and he 360s it. It's about the size of this, but the one at the bottom is so much bigger. Oh, look at that. Tina's hanging out with Carson right now as they're reviewing the run. Let's hear from him, Tina.
Yeah, it's a pretty jam-packed run, and it happens really quick. Like, as soon as I drop, it feels like 10 seconds later I'm at my big drop, so just trying to just dissect it and just one thing at a time, and everything comes at you quick, and I'm just trying not to anticipate that big 3 drop and focus on the task at hand all the way down. But yeah, it's exciting, and yeah, long week, and I'm pumped. I think I forgot to brake before my big 3 drop, and I went a little big.
How did you hold on to that?
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to. I don't know. I just pointed my eyes where I wanted to go. I kind of forgot to brake, and then I went a little far down. But my tire stayed on. Thank you, Michelin. That was a flashback from 2019. Wheels a little talk out, but snuck that around. Yeah, I'm happy. It's rowdy out here, and I'm just stoked to see all my friends nail runs, and this is an amazing time.
Yeah, this week has been, there's been a lot of practice, but it's also been what you just said, a real rowdy week for a lot of the riders.
Yeah, it's just the level, having the ladies here, seeing them kill it. It just seems like atmosphere is definitely leveled up, and everybody's stoked and pushing hard, but nailing stuff, so I'm stoked, and hopefully Bienve's okay. Never like seeing a fellow rider go down, but he's a meatball. I'm sure he's fine.
They were texting down here and saying all good. But we're still waiting for the score, Cam, so I'm going to send it back over to you.
Thank you, Tina. It sounds like Jeff Gulvich is in the judges' tower doing a comparison, so let's check in with Jeff. What are they comparing, Jeff?
Well, they're comparing Storch to Silva right now. Storch was absolutely charging the mountain. He had different tricks. Nobody has really spun a drop that big, and the way he held on to that was just absolute, pure display of strength. I don't think many people here could hold on to that. You see completely compressed on his bike. He's almost folded over on that, so that's where we're sitting.
Well, cool. All right, so they're comparing that with Adolf Silva's run. That is the run that is currently sitting in 4th. Here's the score coming in 85. He knocks Adolf Silva into 5th. Carson Storch into 4th.
Whoa, so the judges rewarding Carson right there for a unique line.
For sure, Nikolai. You know what they said, too? They said, that's the biggest 3 drop we've seen all day today. So they're taking into consideration everything that has come before.
Very true.
With 2 riders left in the gate. Run 1 here at Red Bull Rampage 2024. This man was on the 2nd step of the podium last year, Tom van Steenbergen. He will be pointing that bike to the Price is Right. A 60-foot plus step down. A man who does not shy away from big moves. He front flipped a massive and historic drop in 2021, earning himself the Best Trick Award. He has trained so hard, come back from so many setbacks, and accomplished so much. Recently, a gold medal in the X Games Real MTB video competition, creating a video segment packed full of never-been-done moves. He has big plans for this Red Bull Rampage run, waiting for the perfect moment when the wind calms down and the flags go flat. Nikolai, I think everybody in the venue right now is taking a big, deep breath, knowing that this man has his eyes set on that one last step that he's yet to conquer on the Red Bull Rampage podium.
Absolutely. Tom van Steenbergen, one of the most electrifying riders in Rampage history, always attacking his run with iconic moves like the cavemans in the past, the front flips. He always has something special for his Rampage runs, and he never holds back.
Well, look at what he's seeing right now from the bottom up. He's obviously staring at that flag we see in the middle of our screen, pointing horizontal. The patience pays off out here. We've seen that already today with riders taking their time. Knowing the wind patterns out here can sometimes be predictable.
Hey, thanks, guy.
Getting a wind read from further down from a member of his build team.
Here we go. TVS dropping in. Nice 360 off of the start, and he's in.
Here we go, Nikolai.
Okay, he's approaching this shark fin step down here, looking amazing. Hitting this hit before the price is right, and now things are going to get insane. Keep your eyes on the screen right now.
Come on, Tom. Come on, Tom.
The price is right. Yeah. And he lands it. I cannot believe what's going on right now.
The biggest front flip drop ever on 2 wheels. Come on, Tom.
It looked a bit under-rotated at first, but it ended up perfect.
Oh, that was huge. Here comes Biggie.
And he's back flipping Biggie.
Yes.
And he stomps that as well.
Oh, man.
A trick jump hit here to go. Come on, Tom, hold on.
Get it to the finish here, Tom.
Backflips the jump and he stops it. What a run, Cam.
One of the heaviest moves we have ever seen on a mountain bike. Oh, he's losing it.
I was so nervous to watch that front flip. I thought it might be coming. And he just stomps it. He must feel incredible right now.
Wow. Holy. We can talk about it now. I know how much preparation he's been putting into that front flip. And we all know Tom. We all know he was going to go for it.
Just continues to find ways to shock us here at Red Bull Rampage year and year again. Like, I just can't believe the willingness of this guy to always go to this level in his runs. Let's check this out.
What do you say? Let's watch this again. We're going to be watching it for a long, long time. Nobody's ever done a front flip off a drop this big. How in the world did he get himself to rotate so slow? Oh, he's at the top of the landing, slightly under. But man, what a strong rider to be able to hold on to this impact. You do land harder when you do a front flip than any other move. Nikolai, you know this best.
Yeah, if you just look at that right there, he basically lands perfect and he still gets bounced off the ground.
2 tires off the ground.
Move, yes.
After he already landed. I thought he was going under row on that backflip off of the 47-foot tip-to-tip Biggie drop. And right here he's thinking, you know what, I just don't want to have to throw this run away. Let's keep it smooth. Backflip on the final trick jump.
And let's check this view of the front flip. I cannot explain to you how ridiculous it is to even have it in your mind to try such a move, let alone perfectly pull it and continue your run with more moves at the bottom. This performance is next level.
Tina is with a buzzing Tom van Steenbergen in the finish corral. Tina?
Yeah, and he's celebrating with everyone as he should be. Hey, Tom. I mean, that was massive. It was the biggest front flip we've ever seen off of a drop. And not only that, you finished the line. You got the chance to finish the line and celebrate with everybody down here and also add more tricks. How do you describe that run?
Oh my God, it's like bringing me back to 2021 where I tried the same thing, front flip on a much smaller drop than this, and then I messed up right after and injured myself, almost ended it all right there, and this is all like, I can't even believe this.
When you landed that, what did you tell yourself?
To chill the fuck out. Yeah, it's really, really easy to get excited after that, but all the mental prep I've done, that's like really all you can do from something that size, paid off. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, and as you can see, that front flip, now he gets to enjoy it and celebrate with his friends.
No way. Thanks, Tina. I mean, there's only one way. Here we go, the score coming in. What's it gonna be? An 89.33 going into third place. Let's see how he feels about it. Wow. Jeff. What's the banter up there in the judges' tower?
Well, you just saw it here. TVS just went upside down, different rotations of 2 of the 3 biggest features on the mountain. He did tag a couple little jumps that are irrelevant. We know he has more to give. little cases here and there, but still that amplitude is absolutely absurd. And as you saw, he learned from the past. The last time he front flipped something massive, he got a little too jacked up on Mountain Dew, or whatever you want to say, but still, wow, holy smokes. Third place, massive. He has room to progress it. So, okay, back to you, Cam.
No, I'm not letting you go that easy. For those at home who are saying, well, what would he have needed to do to go into first place? What was it about the runs that scored higher than his that, you know, put him all the way down into third place? People are going to want to know.
For sure. I think it's just adding those little filler tricks everywhere you don't see them. There were little cases, like I mentioned before. Still had 2 of the biggest flips on the course. Honestly, I feel like the weakest part of his run was the hip jump. If he added something nice in there, be super helpful. And you know what? We got a second run, so he has time to do it.
Okay, thanks for the insight, Gully. We got another rider up at the top of the course right now as Tom van Steenbergen celebrates his accomplishment and puts out of his mind the fact that he's not in first place. The man who was in first place a year ago, an iconic moment when Cameron Zink
TV ready.
earned his second Red Bull Rampage win. He's had 2 second places. He's won 2 best tricks. And he is an absolute icon and legend in the sport of freeride mountain biking. This year, aboard his own bike, launching the brand Zink bikes and showing he's definitely putting in the hours of R&D. I would say dropping top to bottom Red Bull Rampage would prove something. A guy who has nothing to prove, 2 wins still out here. This run will be the oldest rider to ever drop into a Red Bull Rampage finals run. Could have just hung it up after last year, but not Cameron Zink.
No, this guy is still so hungry for victories out here.
Rider number 18, Cameron Zink. 3, 2, 1. Leia and the champ.
Here we go. Defending champion Cameron Zink on course.
Starting off nicely with a spin off the flat drop, landing smooth. He's gonna come into this step down that some other riders have hit with backflip with a nice tabletop, and no! Oh gosh. Ooh, Cam takes a harsh tumble.
Man, just goes to show how thin the margin for error is out here. Going off the side of his landing. Maybe a slight over-rotation on that backflip.
I think it was the over-rotation. He landed on the back wheel, similar to how Bienve was earlier, just sent him a little bit off track and kind of down the cliff bands, which did not look pleasant at all. Hopefully people can make it down to Cam and make sure he's okay.
You just never know what's gonna bite you. We saw him backflip the Icon Sender dirt to dirt last year. This is a much smaller backflip, but anytime you're flipping off of a cliff out here, that's all about the subtleties, the run-ins, the run-outs. Big left-hand turn into that. You have to be straight to the landing.
There's just no room for error out here.
We have our medical crew checking out Cameron Zink right now. Medical crew scattered around this whole mountain. They're educated about these lines, about these riders. We see the same familiar faces on the medical crew year in and year out. And they're well versed in all the scenarios you can find yourself in out here in the rugged mountains of Virgin, Utah. Also well acquainted with the riders we have dropping in.
Look back to what was an incredible run 1. That seems like a day ago. It was just a few hours ago. Salema Masekela here with Cam McCaul and Nikolai Rogatkin. It is about 5 p.m. Mountain Time here in Utah. And Cam, as we were in that run 1 replay, you're like, Salema, This is uncharted waters for Red Bull Rampage.
For sure, we've obviously dealt with wind plenty in the past, but there's been years where we didn't have a run two, and it was canceled right away. We've never kind of sat around and waited for the conditions to get better. I remember one time specifically, 2013, it was canceled for run two, and then it got nice.
Right.
So I think we're learning from the past right now, and we're gonna see what we get.
Nikolai, your thoughts?
The wind is always just so unpredictable here at Red Bull Rampage, and we know the competition is just not the same with one singular run opposed to two, so we're trying everything in our ability, and here we go. Here are the riders that are willing to up it in run two. What do you guys think?
I mean, we're gonna start out with Tomas Genon. Obvious issues in run number one with that bike cartwheeling off multiple cliffs, and then Tom Isted, unable to finish that run. He did not have smooth run into the big 74-foot canyon gap. And then, I mean, the third guy we're going to see.
Oh, Brandon Semenuk, you know he's stewing with that 61.33. I love that the rookie's deciding to go. But we're going to go right now to Jeff Gulovich in the Samsung Judges Tower. Jeff, we know that there's 6 on the list. What are the rules now in this unprecedented water?
Oh, good.
All right, we're having some technical difficulties. Kind of par for the course today. Maybe summarize your idea of what Jeff's going to talk about as far as the rules with the 6 who are standing up top right now.
Well, they're going to get them up to the top of the course. They're going to assess the wind conditions. The riders are going to make a decision between all of them if we start this thing over again. If we do, well, each rider gets their 8 minutes to wait for the wind conditions to feel right, where they feel confident to drop in. But if they feel like there's so much wind that nobody wants to drop in, then they just will cancel run two altogether.
Yeah, it's a unique situation. So basically, if we can't get through these runs also, those runs will not count. So it gets a bit complicated because you kind of want every rider to have that same shot to at least give their best effort to do 2 runs.
And remember, in the midst of all this is Szymon Godziek, who is sitting there in first place, so close to be able to touch this thing that he's wanted literally for most of his life. What do you think that mindset is when his fate is kind of sitting at the top of the mountain?
There has to be part of him that's saying, all right, I've done everything that I can do, but there also has to be another part of him that's going, ooh, did I make the right decision deciding so long ago that I will not go up for run number 2? I think he showed us, and he told us in interviews, that that was his dream run. So he's left it all out there on the table. It all worked, and now he's going to let the chips fall as they may.
All right, well, we're waiting for all of the riders to make their way to the top. We'll give you a look at the current standings after run 1, just to let you know where the stakes lie. As you can see, Szymon Godziek with that 91.66. Your brother, Tyler McCaul, with the run of his life, sitting there in second place, and TVS right behind him with the front flip heard around the world. Kurt Sorge, Carson Storch, great run. Adolf Silva, Ethan Nell, and Kyle Strait with the save of all saves. And then you see the rest there. Again, we're wishing the best for Cam Zink. So happy after his injury to find out that he is in stable condition with his family. We'll update you with more if we have it, but we are sending him the best of healing.
Absolutely. All of our thoughts are with Cameron Zink right now, and you know all the riders who are at the top of the course are thinking about Cameron Zink. They're also thinking about those flags. We just got a peek. The flag in the background, pretty horizontal. We see Brandon Semenuk at the top of the course.
The time. Talk to me about the time for which these riders have not been on their bike. What's going on, like 3 or 4 hours at this point since they've taken their first run. What's that feel like if they do decide to go with no practice and be like, all right, let's grip it and rip it?
Even in a practice session, if a rider has the blood flowing and the energy is there and you take a break, it's hard to get going again. Not to mention in the middle of the high pressure situation of Red Bull Rampage, after run number 1, after your friend has been taken off the course, after staring at flags for hours and hours and hours, has to be the most difficult circumstance to get motivated again and get the blood pumping.
Yeah, I think this is a type of situation where the brain has to overpower the body, because obviously after waiting around, your body's gonna be cold, it's not gonna feel that good. But the brain can overpower it, because if you want it bad enough, you can turn it on, drop in, and give it your best shot, and maybe it'll be the run of your life. You never know out here at Red Bull Rampage.
Yeah, in that interview that we had with Tom van Steenbergen, he talked about, you know, the training portion coming into this event, how much of it was in the body, but how much more of it, at least for him, really rests in all these scenarios between the ears, and how mental it is to be able, just under normal conditions, to perform here at Red Bull Rampage.
It's a very common theme you hear throughout many, many interviews from Red Bull Rampage competitors on the men's field, on the women's field. You hear them talk about how important the mental side is. Zink, I don't know if this is a Zink quote or if he got it from somewhere, but I love it, so let's credit Zink. He says, this sport is 90% mental and the rest is in your head. It's so good, but you know, TVS explaining that your brain, and Bienve explaining that your brain has the power to overcome what your body feels. Your brain is the boss, and these riders are people to look up to. Maybe everybody's not gonna go hurl themselves off of a 65-foot cliff with a front flip, but there's probably something you're afraid to do in your life, and yeah, these riders are inspirational.
All right, the elephant in the room. There's $100,000 first prize
Let's
on
talk
the
about
line.
that.
So let's talk about that, and then talk about that from the context of these 6 riders up at the top, having this conversation with each other if we're gonna one for all or all for one it, but the money is on the line.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk all day about, you know, the spiritual aspect of the sport and the camaraderie between the riders, and all those things are true. But let's be real. Somebody's going to walk away with $100,000. The winner of this competition is the only one who's going to have a check in the 6-figure range, and that has to play into it.
All right. I've just been informed that Jeff Golovich's microphone situation has been fixed, so we'll go to the Samsung judges tower to check in. What's the chatter over there amongst the judges and you guys, Jeff?
Well, everybody's really excited for these second runs. We're really hoping the wind dies down. It is improving, and we know there are a lot of these guys that can improve. We want to see some completed runs. They have all the capability in the world, but they have to make smart choices for their personal well-being as well. We totally support that.
Jeff, is there a go time or a go, no-go time on the clock where these guys have to make a decision to go or not?
I think there is a small window, but it really comes down to daylight and what we have with resources here. So I think these guys have about 15 minutes or so to make an actual go or no-go call. And then once that is made, each rider will go in their drop order. And once they are in the gate, they have 8 minutes to decide whether they want to drop or not. But that first consensus has to be made, and everybody has to agree that they want to compete in their second run.
All right, thank you, Gully. We'll check in with you again. I've just been informed that in the interest of time, as the scenario continues to evolve, the 8-minute rule is now being cast aside. If you decide you're not going, just a quick DNF in the interest of time.
Perfect. I like it.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get this contest going, and it's a pretty quick decision if you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next rider.
Ain't nobody got no time for that. Let's give you the stakes here and take a look at the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place runs and see what these 6 are up against, starting with TVS and this huge front flip.
I mean, I knew he was going to go for this, and knowing Tom van Steenbergen, if he has a plan and he's been working hard towards it, his brain is going to pull the trigger. He did absolutely that. The consequences for that are massive. So I don't know about you, Nikolai, but I took a deep breath as soon as he dropped in.
Same. I was so nervous for that one. I don't even know how we keep getting shocked by Tom Van. We need to expect these things from him. But here's your bro, Cam. Unbelievable run, starting off with a nice backflip tabletop, suicide no-hander on that incredibly technical drop, and here's where things got incredibly serious. The toughest canyon gap possibly in the history of Rampage, and he handles it with ease almost, it seems.
Yeah, the run out is the crux of that gap. He went long, which meant he had even less time to break, but the fact that he put it to the sweet spot meant that he did not bounce, and he was able to start braking immediately after landing. And, you know, his job wasn't over after that. He had to put it to the finish corral, and he did it. But here we go. Current leader right now, Szymon Godziek from Poland.
Szymon Godziek, this run is years in the making. It took years for him to realize what he needed to do for a top spot here at Rampage, and this run was it. Check out the amplitude of this double backflip. Wow. The control, the amplitude, and just the overall impression of that run was just electric. Don't you agree?
I agree, and Godziek stated in the interview that it was his dream run. That was everything he wanted, and he's gonna leave it up to these competitors right here, these brave 6 at the top of the course.
Yeah.
Excited to see if they're going to make the decision to drop, Salema.
All right, we see Tomasz Genon, his helmet is on, and another update is we're back to the 8-minute rule.
We're back to the 8-minute rule.
We're back and forth all day.
They've decided, I guess, and look, the reality is the flags are still flying up there and blowing. The headspace that each athlete is trying to find to make that decision, give a little bit of breath with that 8 minutes.
Well, these riders aren't hoping for some miracle where the wind just stops. They realize that they need to do this run with a little bit of wind, but that wind has to be manageable enough that the run's actually possible. Because if it's gusting too hard, the run simply becomes impossible.
I asked you earlier, Cam, about the wind, and you said this is where a rider has to, in his mind, to your point,
TV ready, waiting on wind.
have to make adjustments within their run to what the wind is doing in real time.
Yeah, wind direction has a lot to do with it. They're taking into consideration the angle of the wind compared to the angle of their biggest features. Obviously, when you're in the air, you're the most vulnerable to wind, but you're still vulnerable when you're on the ground on a ridge line. Even if you pull up your front tire into a manual, you will feel that wind. But like I said before, these riders are rotating off of these big airs, and sometimes you're less vulnerable to wind while you're either upside down or backwards. So veteran riders like Tomasz Genon are taking all these factors into consideration.
Put either one of you put yourself in his helmet right now. What are you talking to yourself about in a moment like this?
I think moments like this require positive thinking. You know, you've been waiting for so long. It's easy for those negative thoughts to fill the brain. It's not worth it. I can't do it. I messed up the first run. You got to fill the brain with those positive thoughts. I got this. Wait for the wind. Wait for that moment. And just kind of visualize that run going perfectly, because that's the only way it's going to work in this situation right here.
Also think about what you're going to be feeling if you decide not to go. You know, you're going to regret not going if there was a chance you could have given it another shot. And they worked so hard for these 2 runs to let one go without, you know, fully putting time and energy into that decision would be a shame.
Yeah, when this contest begins, in a lot of ways, it's like the 5-yard line to the end zone relative to the 10 days or so of pre-digging to the point that, you know, Tomas is waiting for a sign from one of his diggers down below that it's good. He'll give him the thumbs up, and Tomas is going to feel the confidence to go. And it makes you really think about that relationship of what these riders and their diggers have been through for this last 10 days or so.
Absolutely. I mean, I like the football analogy there, because it's almost like it's come time to like have to risk it on 4th down, you know? The conditions might not be the best, but there's no choice. You've put your life into this. You and the diggers have put a week of work into this, and yeah, gotta risk it all. 4th down.
We're in 4-down territory.
For sure, 4-down territory.
And how about this? You've also already run this play, and you know where it went wrong.
Right.
And you know it's well within your capabilities to fix it. If you think about where his run went wrong, it was on that 360 drop. Think about last year. Very similar drop. He absolutely greased it. He has what it takes. He knows what to adjust.
With less than 5 minutes on the clock for Tomasz Genon. And to contrast moods, there is Szymon Godziek from Poland.
What a situation.
Just sitting there trying to be as chill as possible.
Do I have 100 grand? Do I not have 100 grand?
Whew.
It seems Tommy G is really waiting for the right moment in the wind. He's such an experienced rider at this event. He knows when it's going to be time to drop.
Traditionally, the last few days, since I got here on Monday, it's been right around this time, right around 5:15, 5:30, that wind starts to die, and riders take advantage of the little bit of light that's left to try and, under the best conditions possible, gain some confidence in their different features.
This may be finals day, but the riders have been playing this game with the wind for days already. They show back up at the venue around 5 o'clock, and they wait for that wind to cooperate to tick off some of their moves. This is no different than that, except for the whole world is watching.
Yeah, and you can see right there, that's Genon's digger. I'm sorry I don't know his name, but he's got his hands in that X position saying no-go.
That's Paul Kuderk. He's a guy that competes in slopestyle a lot. He was digging for Tommy G all week. They have a very, very close relationship, and it's nothing different from slopestyle. Sometimes in those competitions, you hold the X up, and when the wind is good to go, you kind of take that X away and create a circle. Tommy G knows he can trust Paul. Paul knows that the best interests of Tommy G are in his control. So he's gonna really wait to give him that signal, and hopefully the green light goes and he can get this run done.
How about the pressure on Paul?
Oh, for sure. I mean, we've been in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
And you just trust your gut. You also think, would I drop right now?
Yeah.
And you're not gonna send your friend if you wouldn't drop. But Paul is more than qualified. I mean, we'll probably see him out here someday as a competitor. He's been charging in the desert. For the viewers who are into skiing and snowboarding, you know, this is our big backcountry competition, and the riders start out in slopestyle, and they come out here and they ride, they do video parts, then they become a builder for a friend, and then you see them up in that start gate for themselves. So Paul Kuderk may not have ever competed in this competition, but he very may well compete in the future.
Yeah, there was a moment there where you saw him kicking up the dirt. It's one thing to see the flag above his head blowing, but when that dirt lifts and it immediately just whoosh, goes out of frame, it gives you the context of what that wind is doing.
Oh, okay, he's changing the signal a little bit.
That was a that was a maybe.
He's standing right by that first super steep drop to shoot. That's definitely the section that Tommy G is going to be most affected by the wind.
Oh, so let's talk about that first section.
Yes.
As you see that crosswind coming out of the west, what might the wind do to him on that first section?
So off of that drop, he has to come off that drop so slow, because if he comes off too fast, he can't control the speed. And he's dropping in. Tommy G starts off run 2 for us. This is insane.
The crowd is already roaring. Here we go.
He looks on. That's a perfectly executed spin off of the first flat drop. Now he's coming into this feature that Paul was standing right there. There's Paul. The flag looks okay.
Mandatory straight air here.
Whoa, okay, controls, getting the traction. Okay, this is where it all went wrong in run 1. He gets the spin. Rotation looks good.
Yeah!
Wow! Tommy G corrects the mistake from run 1 and stomps the big 360. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
A combo backflip on that super technical jump, Cam.
Backflip, one-footed can-can on a jump that is so hard to judge speed for.
This shoot is really technical. He's got to turn midway, executes perfectly. He's almost to the end here. A front flip! And he stops it, a fly-out front flip, massive! Showing the classic Tommy G style coming into the end here. He's got another hit. I think it's a step down. A chill flip. Oh, it comes up short, but it doesn't matter. Tommy G starts off run 2 with the bang top to bottom. Talk about the composure to make it happen, Cam.
We are rolling now. Run 2 is officially underway as Thomas Genon makes it to the finish corral.
Talk about the mental fortitude after not touching his bike for about 3.5 hours to get that go sign from Paul and then put down that run.
You said fortitude, Salema. The definition of that is courage in pain or adversity, and this is a guy who rode both runs last year with a broken wrist. No surprise, he's also the rider to drop in first here for run number 2, opening up the floodgates for what's to come.
Only this type of behavior only at Red Bull Rampage.
Exactly. That must feel insane. He come in with a 0 in run 1, correct? So, I mean, Tommy G must be over the moon. You could see how relieved he was there in the finish corral. Oh, now we're going into a comparison here. What's Golly God?
All right, we're comparing to Adolf Silva, who's currently sitting in 6th place. A little insight into where the riders or the judges initially feel this run could be ranked. So you think about the run from Adolf Silva, obviously a huge step down flip up top. This Sui off the drop as we see Genon front flipping. Gully, what are they thinking?
Well, the judges are comparing with Adolf Silva. Tommy G had a very different style of run. As you know, Adolf's was straight down the mountain, a lot of flips, very fast. Tommy G had very technical shoots, great spin drops, carrying this momentum, looking a lot better than the first run. I'm so stoked he put one down, but I'm just still waiting to hear a little more from these guys. They are deep in debate right now, so let me get back to you guys in a quick second here.
Okay, great point made there by Gully. The runs are pretty different. They both have a couple big hits there, but Tommy G's is more technical. But let's look at this massive 360. Getting rowdy there, the feet almost coming off the pedals.
How many push-ups you been doing a day getting ready for Rampage? It looks like it was enough.
You know, as if this shoot wasn't hard enough, he has to follow it up directly with a big front flip. We call it a front bomb because it's always like kind of an electric move that's kind of an explosion vibe. So the front bomb goes perfectly right there for Tommy G, and then a case here in the end, but it doesn't matter.
You know what? I'm so glad to see the feet stay on the pedals. The judges are looking at that. They obviously want to see those tires touch down in the perfect spot, but he did not take a foot dab. Here we go, the foot off intentionally there with the backflip one-footed can-can as the leg crosses over to the other side of the bike.
Most stylish crossing into the finish gate, that's for sure.
Well done, Tommy G. Waiting for the score now. Run number 2 from Thomas Genon.
Tommy G, best result here at Rampage, 5th place, correct, Cam?
He's got 3 of them as well.
Does he?
3 5th places.
Gully, what say you?
The judges are using all of their time here because these runs are so different. You got front flips, you got 360 drops from Tommy G. He nailed that run. Little case on the last jump, but it shouldn't necessarily slow down.
Are you kidding me?
Of course.
Are you kidding me? For the time being, Tomas Genon with that 85.83 finds himself in the familiar place of 5th as we head back to the top.
Thomas Genon sliding in ahead of Carson Storch.
Whoa.
Ooh, look who's at the top right now. The Rampage rookie, run number 1, not going to plan. Just getting offline on one of the most important connection features on his run, right before the biggest feature he has eyed up, the 74-foot canyon gap, nicknamed BFC, the Big F in Canyon.
How's this for a welcome to Rampage for a rookie like Isted?
Amazing performance from him as a Rampage rookie. He teams up with Tyler, who's such a veteran, but he was the one guinea pigging, meaning jumping that canyon gap first, which requires so much confidence and so much skill. He's really shown this week that he's willing to do what it takes to be here and showing that he belongs and just showing that he can step up his riding level to whatever point it takes to get the run he wants to do at Rampage. So I think everyone's fired up on Tom Ice's performance, and hopefully he can get a top to bottom in a few minutes here.
A little insight into some more stakes here. It's common practice for the event organizers to automatically invite the top 8 finishers into the next year's event. So we're saying that he has proved he belongs here. That is obvious, but he can make it a no-brainer by slotting into 8th or better.
And please.
I was just gonna say, Cam, he must be pretty motivated to do this run because Tyler shares some features with him, and Tyler's sitting pretty up in there in 2nd. So Tom has to have that belief that I get this run done and I'm gonna get a pretty good score.
There's conclusive evidence that the judges like this line.
Exactly.
I've just been informed that he is looking specifically right now as relates to the wind to the Canyon Gap windsock.
Oh, go figure. Amazing.
Yeah, he was saying earlier today that he doesn't want to go near that canyon gap with any wind. It just shows the exposure. That feature is just so affected by any outer element, and yeah, he just needs perfection to make it happen.
both of the riders riding that Canyon Gap have a lot of respect, and it's due respect.
Explain the stakes of what can go wrong on that thing.
Well, it's a long way down if you don't go far enough, and there's a lot of speed coming out. You have to have the full package of riding skills to judge the speed, and even if you do judge the speed perfectly, you got to have a lot of riding skills to brake and steer to stay on line.
Remember, Tom Isted does not have to go. He is in his 8-minute window to make the decision, yes or no.
Yeah. The reason
Tommy.
I'm not going to drop in is that canyon gap is 75 feet tip to tip. And in this wind, I am not willing to risk jumping into that. It's a pure headwind, so not going to be the most enjoyable thing in the world. So I'm tapping out. I'm going home healthy. I'm happy about that. Let's get these boys down the hill, but I'm going to call it quits, so I'm not willing to risk myself that much.
Tommy, we salute you choosing you.
Fair enough, Tom. Hey, it makes all the sense in the world. You have done such a great job out here in your first Red Bull Rampage. I think you should be proud, and this decision makes sense, my man.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a hard one to make for sure, but definitely not worth it for me. So
hey.
Hopefully I can come back next year and I can get it done again, but...
You'll be back, bro.
Yeah.
You'll be back.
Cheers, boys.
Well done. And there you go. You're able to see in real time what
another bullet.
Just the stakes in real time, and Tommy letting us know, like, hey, I want to go home safe.
Oh man. Well, we got Tom Isted bowing out, but we've got Brandon Semenuk on screen at the top. What will his decision be?
So Brandon is in a unique situation because Tom was saying he doesn't want to do the run in the wind because of the canyon gap and the consequences from that. You got to think about the fact that Semenuk has tail whips in the run. The worst trick to do in the wind might be a tail whip.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So he has to also factor in that risk and maybe, like Cam said, plan the run in a different strategy, which maybe switching up some tricks to make it happen.
The tricks are what this run is going to be all about. The features on this line are built for tricks. They may not be as big as some of the other lines on this course, but if you're Brandon Semenuk, you can ride it in such a way where you can post a huge score.
How much, though, would what happened with that backflip whip that went wrong in the first run be playing in his head?
I actually think the flip whip is the least of his worries. I don't think he's going to make that mistake twice. I think he's got to get there to the flip whip. If he makes it to the flip whip, I'm almost certain that he can stomp it because it's a trick that he's so comfy with. We got to pay attention to the rest of the run because that is vital.
Again, the most dominant man in Red Bull Rampage history with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 wins. He wasn't here last year because he was busy killing it in his rally car, but this year he said, let me go back and remind folks that I am him, Brandon Semenuk, as his clock is running.
I got 7 minutes.
So a rider like Brandon Semenuk has a bag of tricks so deep that he may have shuffled his strategy based on conditions. He's got a lot of tricks to choose from.
Well, you heard him right there say, I got 7 minutes. It sounds like he's willing to exhaust all of it to find that perfect window, or as close to perfect a window.
He's a strategist. He really is. He's been so successful in his career, both in slopestyle, Rampage, and rally car racing, because he takes all of the elements, calculates them, and figures out the right strategy for victory.
I don't think anyone's as mentally composed as Brandon Semenuk. He has the pressure on him at every single event he goes to win said event. So he's lived with that pressure for years, and you know, I think he can handle any sort of mental stress when it comes to mountain biking. He is referred to as the GOAT of mountain biking a lot of the time. So he's ready for this run no matter what.
You see there on screen, it's referencing the double drop. The first drop on that lily pad measures 26 feet point to point. Run number 1, he did an opposite tail up into it. So incredibly technical. It's mandatory to land perfect on that opposite tail up on the lily pad because you're going to take off immediately after landing.
You see him going through.
Still committed to the tail whips. He's not diverting from the plan, it seems.
I believe you I believe that's what we just saw.
And you can see in real time the way the wind is playing with his jersey on his body, and he can feel that.
Tick, tock, tick, tock.
Semenuk has had legendary skateboarder and podcaster, comedian Jason Ellis out here with him all week, serving as his master of social media this week. Talk about an unlikely pairing. But they are having a blast. Ellis has been having a really good time being here. But yeah, he said that Semenuk just called me up randomly and said, hey, mate, you should come out and do my social media for Red Bull Rampage.
You're right. These two personalities could not be
more different. The silent and the loudest.
Yo, Whites.
5 minutes to go in Brandon's window here.
Oh, I thought he was getting ready there.
That tick-tock, tick-tock, as the seconds tick down, it has to become more stressful.
The longest 8 minutes. Those 3 that went by, it seemed like it's been 20.
And remember, we just watched Tom Isted tell us, you know, a few minutes ago, I'm opting for my personal safety and not going.
Yeah, opting out is just such a difficult thing to do. We know these riders put their life into this event. Oh, thumbs up.
I think maybe he was asking to be given a thumbs up.
Right now. Yo, Whites.
Let's listen in.
Come on. Oh, the crowd's feeling it.
Is it good? Good? Let's do it.
Oh, let's do it. We can hear that. Everyone get fired up for this run.
Rider number 2, Brandon.
Manualing down the start, already showing so much confidence. Beautiful truck driver, couldn't have landed any better, and he's in. Coming up to this step down, a technical flip pull. Gets the combo again. Brandon looks so on. Let's see what he does here. A stylish one-footed table. Gets that unique flat spin again, and now he's into this technical shoot. Whoa. Making it onto that table there. He has some pace in this run. He's looking confident. Okay, coming up over this unique ridge jump where he indied last run. Another beautiful Indian air, and I think this is the gnarliest part of the run, isn't it, Cam?
100% into the lily pad. Is he going to go for the opposite tail up again?
Gets it even better than the first run! Okay, this is where the run went wrong, the flip whip.
Here we go. Goes for it again.
Whoa! Okay, he got a little rowdy on the flip whip, but he stomps it. Stylish opposite spin, and Brandon has done a top to bottom after waiting the gate for ages.
Big slope style moves in the big mountain terrain of Virgin, Utah. Brandon Semenuk, after the longest wait ever in Red Bull Rampage, stomping the run.
Somebody just got those goggles that are going to be very, very valuable. Man, talk about just locking in.
I am so impressed with the execution. We watched run 1 and it was so sick, and every single move in that run looked even better than run 1, no?
Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
So we should, because he's done it so many times. Look at this, 360 bar spin. You called it out right there, Nikolai, the truck driver, adding a variation into that 360 starting this run off.
Beautiful landing there. And then this stylish one-footed table on that hip right there. This is a unique feature right here, this flat spin. If he goes too far, he's kind of way too fast into this shoot that's upcoming, so.
Watch how spicy he gets after this shoot. All right, big question now is who is on the other side of the split screen? Oh, man.
Szymon Godziek's 91.66 is what they are comparing right now.
So these runs are so different.
All right, Gully, what do you say, boss?
Hey, Salema. As Nikolai was saying, these runs are extremely different, just like the comparison before. But as you can imagine, they are taking Brandon right up to Godziek just to check it out, see what the difference is. You have an absolute bull out there charging the mountain compared to a surgeon with a scalpel. This is crazy. I can only imagine these guys could take all 3 minutes to pick this one apart. So I'm going to sit in on this conversation and see what I can hear from the judges. Back to you guys.
I love the bull and the surgeon comparison. I'm going to put you two on the hot seat right now. If you were to make the call right now, who gets it? And you don't have to worry about being wrong. Just personal opinion.
Personally, as technically complicated and amazingly executed that run was from Brandon Semenuk, I think Godziek's run is such a pure Rampage run. There's pace, there's style, there's massive hits, and he starts off with the front flip and ends with the double flip. Such an electric start and such an electric finish. It's tough, though, because now that I'm thinking about Brandon's run, and he also had an electric start and electric finish. What do you think,
You,
Cam?
sir, have spoken. Cam.
Yeah, well, I would say the judges are probably considering amplitude right now. If you're going to have a line down the mountain that doesn't have any of the biggest features on it, you're going to need to do some really technical tricks. A truck driver up top, an opposite whip into a lily pad, a flip whip. We know that Brandon wanted more of a variation on the opposite 360 down at the final feature, but that was an opposite 360,
Yes.
showing variety, complementing the truck driver up top. I mean, the size of Godziek, I tend to agree with Nikolai here. We have amplitude as a category.
You can see, we don't have to be able to hear them, but you could see that the judges are having probably the same conversation as we speak.
Most definitely. Probably getting into the details of the run even more, kind of deciding what value is more to them. You know, those technical features or those massive amplitude features. And like Cam was saying, the judges always talk about amplitude because amplitude means risk, and risk means reward usually.
And remember, our judges have, I believe, have 15 Red Bull Rampage starts amongst them. So these are not folks who were picked off the street. You see Fairclough over there on the side, probably not being one of the more outspoken people.
Never, never.
But they are taking the full 3 minutes because there is a lot at stake. Tina, what do you say?
Yeah, well, as the judges take their time, Brandon, there was such a long wait for you guys. The decision, do you go? How did you stay motivated during that time?
Yeah, I mean, the boys did so much work, obviously, every year. And I obviously just want to get down the hill for them, but put on a show for everybody. And it was, I mean, I don't really care where I end up, to be honest. I didn't want to leave it at that. I wanted to get a run. I wanted to just put on a good show, and I'm happy. We waited it out. It definitely was a little bit windier. But yeah, super happy to get down.
Just turn to your left.
Wow. Brandon Semenuk takes over the lead.
And look
Did you
there to the
expect
right.
that? When you were down here and they were taking their time, what did you expect?
To be honest, I wasn't expecting that. It's so hard to know. Like, I look at all the other lines, and dudes are riding so good. The first runs are insane. So yeah, I mean, I was just happy to get to the bottom.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a great score, but it's so hard to tell. Like, this event's insane, and yeah, I'm just so happy to watch all my friends kill it today.
Yeah, it was such a great Rampage. We still have a few more riders left to go, but what a great score and what a great run, Brandon.
Thank you.
And there you see Szymon Godziek clearly a bit deflated, having been so close to this thing that he wished for.
You can see it on his face.
Exactly. How about to have that level of humility in the midst of that much insane natural skill and tenacity with Brandon Semenuk just being like, just talking about his peers.
Not surprised. He has so much love for the game, and with that comes so much respect for all the other players in the game. Yeah, showing a lot of humility in that interview.
Could have gone either way, and that's the way it went as we head back up to the top. For now, Semenuk is stoked to be in first as we take a look at our rookie, Luke Whitlock, the electrician, part-time when he's not riding his bike. I love that shot in his piece where it's his work boots in the back of his pickup truck, straight to his riding shoes.
This guy's no stranger to long days, right? Getting up at 4 a.m. to go work as an electrician, getting off work and heading out to the desert to ride, sometimes by himself until dark, and then do it all over again the next day. Another day in the office for Luke Whitlock, except this one is the manifestation of a lifelong dream to be a Red Bull Rampage competitor. He, of course, doesn't want to let this opportunity for a second run pass by.
Cam, I'm a bit shocked. I'm a bit shocked. Not only did Brandon's run just bump Simon from the top spot, but it also bumps Tom van Steenbergen off the podium into fourth, which after the front flip heard around the world, as Salema said, it's just crazy to see these riders risking everything, but the judges seem to be really judging top to bottom and dissecting every little piece of the run.
Yeah.
So it's just shocking to see. Such a tough competition out here, man. So tough.
It's almost like as this sport has progressed year after year, it has created a scenario where the judges have to compare apples and oranges, more like cucumbers and oranges, because we've got these far other ends of the spectrum with slopestyle and big mountain being judged against each other.
And there we saw a shot of brother McCaul, your brother, Tyler McCaul, as he finds himself on that bubble spot after having the greatest run in his Rampage history, after again recovering from having that ankle fusion surgery where the judges, the doctors, excuse me, said, hey, you're not riding for a year. And he said, hold my beer, I'm going to Rampage.
Yeah, this is a new Rampage. I mean, this is similar to a surf contest with leaving the window open right here and just letting this thing play out.
Yeah, it's howling up here, and yeah, it's just that suey is the biggest thing, you know. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Sammy just called me. Yeah, he says it's pretty windy at the drop. Okay, bro.
Flip it.
What time are we looking at?
You're almost at 3 minutes. You have approximately 5 minutes.
Decisions.
See a shot of Luke's family down the bottom. And remember, you take your run or you don't take your second run, you're walking away from Rampage with your head held high. Oh yeah. There's no shame to be found in making the other choice.
Absolutely. Hey, Luke, can you hear us? Luke, can you hear us through the speakers up there?
Yep.
Right on. Hey, which drop is it that you have somebody scouting the wind for you?
Well, T-Max Digger Sammy actually just called me on my big flat drop in the middle there, and he says it's pretty windy there. So that's kind of my main concern, because doing a suey on it and taking the hands off is not the best trick to do in the wind. So just gonna kind of see and wait and use my 8 minutes up and see if there's a lull, and we'll go from there. But yeah, it's howling up here, and if it's on that drop too, it's a little dicey for sure.
For sure, makes sense. So I'm glad that you've got somebody down there scouting for you, and I'm sure they're telling you the direction as well.
Yep. Yeah. It's Sammy actually just called me randomly, so bless him for that. But yeah, it's howling up here for sure still. So we'll see.
Teamwork out there. All right. Well, we're hoping the wind subsides for you, man.
Cheers.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, you come to this place and it's so peaceful. Like if you're just standing, we're sitting down here and you're like, it's, you know, it's a peaceful place. You can feel it in your body, but the power in these mountains, you know, and the respect needed in order to engage with them for fun. This is a sport that's fun. You also have to respect the power of what you're dealing with here in Southern Utah.
A lot of different ways to enjoy this place, right? You
Yes.
can sit on the beach at Pipeline, or you can paddle out at Pipeline.
Exactly. And even the world's best on those days at Pipeline say, you know what, I'm not feeling it today. And yeah, my buddy may have gotten blown out of the best barrel of his life, but if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to risk it. Two minutes left on the clock here for Whitlock.
I wonder what Whitlock has planned for the run upgrade-wise, because he's saying he's going to Sui the drop again. I talked to Luke earlier in the week, and he said that maybe a spin or flip was available on that drop. It seems like he's still opting for the Sui, but this is a guy that can do tricks like cash rolls and other things like that. So I wonder if he's going to find a place in the run to do something unexpected.
Big tricks.
Yeah.
We saw him do a flat spin 360 on the last jump. We know he has cash rolls, like you said, which is essentially a 720 rotation over a forward axis, essentially a front flip 360.
Yep.
And he pretty much just told us he's thinking Sui on that drop still. So you got to imagine that the upgrade is coming somewhere other than that drop. Pretty interesting, right? If the upgrade plan is on the bottom jump, this is a heck of a run-in to get there.
Definitely. Got to stay composed and make it to that jump before doing the upgrade, which is very, very difficult.
Red Bull Rampage 2024 Extended Remix Edition. Director's Cut. Bonus tracks.
All of them. Box set.
Box set DVD with all the BTS. The body language speaks volumes.
It's all right, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's just not.
I'll wait it out, but
Yeah, you got like 45. Might as well take your full 8.
it's just swirling, dude.
Yeah, 36.
I'm not dropping. No, dude.
Sounds like Luke might be
Too
calling it.
sauce. Yeah.
Well, props on the call, dude.
Yeah.
That's heavy, but that's a good call. If you want to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Luke, you calling it?
Well, Luke, can you hear us? Luke, can you hear us?
Yep.
Calling it, bro?
I'm calling it, man. It's howling up here and swirling, and if it's windy on that drop, you know, it's taking the hands off is really risky in the wind. So it's a tough call to make for sure. It guts me, but you know, I feel like it's the right call for myself, and you know, it's just too gnarly for me at least. So.
Yep, smart call, brother. You should be so proud of yourself. You did a top to bottom, starting off with something you didn't even ride. Be fired up, and everyone is looking forward to seeing you back here at Red Bull Rampage because we know you got more to prove. But for now, be stoked, dude. Unreal performance.
Cheers, dude.
All right,
Great call, brother.
Nice positive motivation there. You can still see he's still gutted. I've just been informed that Talus Turk as well is deciding to bow out. So it may be that Brandon Semenuk might have found a little crack in the window with this late wind.
Bruno.
Yeah, no,
to the Spaniard,
Let's go down.
Adolf Silva.
Is he the only one left?
And he is the only one up, and I just heard him say, "Let's go down." So he is done. And with that, it is official. That man signing the autographs, finding something to make it. He was already the most dominant. Now he sits with 5 wins at Red Bull Rampage. Brandon Semenuk, the most dominant of all time at the greatest free ride mountain bike event in the world.
I can't believe what Brandon has just managed to do. It goes disastrous in run 1, and he finds, like you said, this sliver window to make this perfect run happen. I can't believe it.
But he said in the interview, he said there was no way I could leave it like that. I couldn't walk away like that. Tina, you had an interview with him after you found out he was in first. Let's get some perspective on what this win, this 5th win, means.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. You've been here before. You've won here 4 times. This one, you did say, I can't walk away from Red Bull Rampage without finishing my line. And with that, you did finish the line, and you just won another Red Bull Rampage. So what does it mean this time around?
I don't even know, to be honest. I'm so happy that we had a good time, and I got a run down. I hate rampages where it's just a single run, and it's probably challenging for the other athletes and the organizers and stuff to keep pushing those windows so the athletes could get a good run and be safe. And yeah, I'm really fortunate that I got a second chance, because I totally blew it on the first run. And yeah, just so happy to get down the hill.
Yeah, and you had such a great build crew in the build for this venue. It was a 3rd-year venue, but you put some variations on your line as well.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I feel like maybe I lacked, there's a lot of big features on this hill, and maybe I lack something that's as big as some of these really, really big features, but we kind of sacrificed the, the sizable features to have a bit more variety, and maybe that's what played into the score. But I'm really happy with what we built, and I'm happy what they put together. And I felt like it had good variety, and I did some tricks that were definitely the biggest ones biggest features I've tricked or done those tricks on. And yeah, I don't know, it's crazy.
You missed last year. We all missed you here, but how much do you think that played into your performance and your desire?
To be honest, it kind of just it made it seem mellower this year for whatever reason. I wasn't putting any pressure on myself. I was just trying to have a good time, and I like I said, I wanted to put a show on for the fans and people watching. So I did some stuff that I've been wanting to kind of do on bigger, weirder features, and yeah, it all worked out.
Well done, congratulations. And I think everyone that stuck around they're very happy that they did that. Congratulations again, Brandon.
Sure, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Tina. That was a great conversation. I spoke to a few riders this week that said this was the chillest Brandon Semenuk I've ever seen at Rampage. Just a lot more relaxed, down to have more conversations, not in his thought bubble of what he needed to do. And clearly that gave him something a little different in how he performed.
Yeah, I mean, he probably missed it last year. It's probably a weird feeling. He did his first Red Bull Rampage in 2008, and he's been doing it every year since that. He's healthy, and he's had a lot of success in rally, which I know has been his passion for a long time as well. But there was probably a part of Brandon that felt a little bit, like he's missing out from last year. So to come back and just be happy to be here, it seems like that's what his headspace was. Pretty crazy that you can be in that headspace and still win the event. But the guy has won 5 Red Bull Joyrides in the slopestyle world. He's now won 5 Red Bull Rampages. Pretty tough statistics to argue with, and I don't know how long it'll be until we see somebody reach that level of dominance in both of those disciplines.
You can't talk about him without saying GOAT.
Right.
You gotta bring up GOAT when you talk about Brandon Semenuk.
Yeah, that guy is just so unfazed by whatever gets thrown at him, messes up the first run on the flip whip, which kind of is the, not easiest, but part of the run where he knows he can do it. He goes back up, long wait, windy, and just executes perfectly and wins a stacked event filled with incredible performances. The fact that he's just so unfazed and makes it happen is just shocking. And hopefully we can see Brandon doing this for as long as he can do it.
All right. As we take a break before we get into our post-show, there you see our final standings. The most dominant ever, Brandon Semenuk in first place. Szymon Godziek so close to his goal of winning this thing, and Tyler McCaul making his way onto the podium. An incredible performance from all. We'll update you on Cameron Zink. We got plenty more awards to give away on the back end in our post-show, so stay with us. What a day at Red Bull Rampage 2024. We'll take a breath and talk about it all when we come back. Welcome back to the beautiful desert of southern Utah. We are in the beginnings of the sunset on what has been truly a historic day at Red Bull Rampage 2024. Nikolai Rogatkin, Cam McCaul, I am Szymon Godziek. We have a quick update for you on Cameron Zink. He has been taken to the hospital. We're going to continue to update you as much as we can if we hear anything else, but he is in stable condition and with his family, and that's the news that we want to know about Cam Zink.
For sure. I mean, so scary when we have those holds, and it's somebody that we know and love so well. So when we get an update like that, obviously we want more information, but that'll come in time. We're just happy that the word stable is used, and he's in the hospital. He's with his family.
Yeah. Meantime, Brandon Semenuk has just doubled down on being the most dominant rider in history here at Rampage. This is his winning run.
So the truck driver up top, Nikolai, and following suit to run number one, we know all of this stuff that came before the flip whip, he was trying to put that flip whip out of his mind and just get there and execute, because that was pretty much to the bottom before that mistake in run number 1.
Yeah, there's so much difficult stuff that has to happen before the flip whip that went wrong in run 1. And this run, Brandon was just so on it. He looked so confident, so in control, adding style. Like, look at the extension on this C-Crab Indian Air right here. Boom! Executing with perfection. And then Cam, we freaked out about this opposite tail up. This is just absurd.
For sure, I think we both agree that a tail up into that lily pad is super tech, because it's obviously easy to miss pedals on a tail. We saw Kyle Strait do that earlier in the day, but to do it opposite, an opposite tail up, and then complemented with a backflip tail up, the tail up going his regular direction. So we have a lot of opposites and regulars in this run, both on the first and last feature, and then in that lily pad and that step down.
Yeah, looking back at the run, you can see that it's so artistically created. He starts off the run with the regular spin, he ends it on an opposite spin, he does the opposite tail up onto the lily directly with the regular tail up and the backflip tail whip. The run is created with an artistic vibe to it. It's just amazing.
And I love that Semenuk even said in his winner's interview, I know I didn't have some of the biggest features here, but I was able to execute these type of tricks on the biggest features I ever had in succession, and that was my plan. He didn't make the decision, the judges did, and we salute him for it. Right now, though, we will go to our first award here in our post-show, and that is the GoPro moment of the day, and that goes to this guy. Kyle.
This will be a fun POV to see.
Hold on for life straight.
He laughed. I think he giggled.
I think it was more like,
yeah. All right, I can't wait to see this flip Suey from the POV angle. He's got to hit his front brake before he takes his hands off.
Oh, we can barely see it there.
Yeah, totally. That was a rowdy moment. I thought it was all coming apart there when the feet missed the pedals on that tail whip.
Yeah, what a save.
Massive save.
Just rowdy, as Kyle Strait is.
Like, he's wearing the cowboy hat all the time. Like, that looked like a rodeo run.
I believe next up we have our best trick, which is presented by the Utah Sports Commission.
No big surprise here.
Yeah, this is the smallest trick anybody did today.
Isn't it funny how we could have told you that? We didn't even need any official word.
And wow, incredible. You know, talking to Tom, he said, I almost crashed on this landing. As much as I landed in the sweet spot, I almost bounced out and crashed.
He really did. I mean, in full speed from the FPV angle, it looked like he was under-rotated and maybe a little bit short, but now we see that slow-mo view. It was perfect, and like he said, he almost crashed. He bounced, but being the strong brute that Tom Van Steenbergen is, handled it like a champ.
Awesome. Next up, it is the Decked Diggers Award, and we will go to Tina Dixon to find out who wins that.
Well, it is Brandon Semenuk's dig team. We have Wiper and Inti. You guys did such a great job. I mean, with Brandon coming down, you had that long wait, and then you had the job of being the weatherman. Also, in addition to building this this course, what does this award mean to you?
I don't know. Did we just win the Digger Award?
You did.
Oh wow. Well, that's pretty sick. We've been.
What is she rambling on about?
No, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We've been trying to fucking get this award for 8 years, so it's pretty cool to finally lock it down, and especially on a year that our boy did really well too.
Yeah. I come up here and I watch the work that goes into this, and I just see a small part of it, but describe it from your point of view and how you keep going through these hot days.
I mean, Brandon's up here giving 200%. I'm going to give 200% as well. It's a team effort. We're all out here to get it done, and we got it done.
Okay, and then when the rider wins, that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the best feeling ever just to have him get down to the bottom of this hill. But then, you know, to put a podium run up there, let alone a winning run, is incredible. It just gives you so much validation on all the work that you've put in over this last week. So it's awesome.
All right, well, congratulations. Yes, you have the Decked Digger Award. Brandon Semenuk's build team. Salema, I'm sending it back to you.
Thank you very much, Tina. I was talking to some of the diggers earlier, and they were like, being a digger is like making the finest dough in a pizzeria. Semenuk with benefiting from his diggers right there. We'll be back with some more awards. Welcome back to the desert here. Look at this People's Choice boat. Basically, it's a two-horse race between Brendan Fairclough and Szymon Godziek, and Brendan Fairclough running away with it with 50% of the vote from the people. They have spoken. If you go on his Instagram, the amount of comments, thousands of comments, just the outpouring of love for the fans for him, as he was really, he left it all out here, which is what he does when he comes out here. We move on now to the BFG Toughness Award, and that is given to this man who somehow came back to ride Bienve Aguado Alba after this crash in practice. There you see it from his POV.
That was the one from the run. The one in practice was even heavier.
Oh, that was the one from the run. Yeah, that's right.
Insane that he was even riding to have a crash in a run today after the crash he had 2 days ago.
And our Samsung Trailblazer Award goes to Brendan Fairclough. Getting 2 in the post show. And yeah, that moment when he came across and he just fell to the ground in that moment of grace and appreciation of the moment, man. You can feel that one in the skin.
So many features up there, they don't know if any of them are going to work. They're trying to up the ante from the ones they're revisiting and then make the new ones possible. That finish line corral, it's just like they all worked. All in a row, they all worked.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why the fans vote him as the rider of the day as well, because it's so clear that he puts everything into this event. He's falling in the finish corral. He can't believe the run has worked, so the fans like that passion.
Yeah, the people have spoken. We go now to what is easily our favorite award here at Red Bull Rampage, the Magaza Spirit Award, and Tina Dixon is going to tell us who that is.
Yes, it is Ethan Nell. Ethan, you have won the Magaza Spirit Award. Yes. And you know, we were talking earlier, and I'd say one thing that was true about Kelly McGarry is he really showed passion for mountain biking. And you took time off. And how important was that for you to get your passion?
Taking a year off was just the wildest thing, you know. It made me really appreciate every moment, the good, the bad, all of it at Rampage. So I think, yeah, it's just crazy I won the event, or won the Magaza, but that's unreal. Like, I'm just so stoked to be back, and like having fun up on the mountain was the biggest thing for me this year. I was only doing the things I wanted to do, having the most fun as possible, and I'm glad it showed, because I had a amazing time.
Yeah, and that's the most important, just being out there, having fun, and having that passion, just like Kelly McGarry. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and be right back with more awards.
We all have our idea of what we want the sport to look like.
Still have that childhood feeling every time I drop in.
We are ready down here.
Anytime?
It's go time, man.
It's gonna be insane.
The best feeling ever.
I'm ready to go!
Anytime. Now available on Red Bull TV.
If you want to take the temperature of what mountain biking looks like in 2024, make sure that you watch Anytime. Men and women just dropping hammers across the board in all sorts of terrain. That is something that you want to watch again on Red Bull TV. Gentlemen, literally as the sun is setting, we are going to put a period on this unprecedented Red Bull Rampage 2024, the 18th running. Your final thoughts?
I'm just so impressed with the resilience of these athletes. To hold out during the wind in the morning, almost no practice, dropping for some of the most insane run ones we've ever seen, and then to have that composure to try their best to go up and do a run two. The resilience of these athletes and their teams, they just put everything into this event, and that showed today. What do you think?
All thoughts with Cameron Zink. Obviously, we have a lot to celebrate out here today, but we do have a friend in the hospital. We've heard he's stable. That's great. All thoughts with Cameron Zink. But what we see out here right now is the culmination of, 17 prior events. Things we saw last year informing what the riders put their sights on for this year. We saw the biggest front flip ever from Tom van Steenbergen. Luckily, he won that Best Trick Award. Personally, I'm so proud of my brother for getting on the podium after
yes.
4 fifth places. Super happy about that. But big picture, the sport of freeride mountain biking, taking all the different approaches from all the different disciplines, everybody conquering their goals out here. So proud of everybody out there.
Yeah, I think that for me, the women being able to set the tone with their first ever Red Bull Rampage after 5 years in which they really had to work very, very hard to be taken seriously. There were so many that wanted to be like, well, oh, what if something happens to them? They're not ready yet. And they put their foot down through video parts, through their performances at formation, and being loud and demanding to be on this stage. And when they got their opportunity, they collectively bonded. They competed, but they bonded together, and they said, we are moving this sport forward. And I think the fact that the women now get to have this place in being a part of moving the collective of the sport forward, and then the men taking that torch from them over to this side, this to me is what makes Red Bull Rampage the most special event for me in all the things I get to commentate in action sports. Congratulations to the men and the women, and the fact that most everyone was able to go home safe. We wish Cam Zink speedy recovery, and that is it. That's a wrap. It's been a pleasure to get to hang with you guys.
Unreal working with you guys. Nice work.
Telling these stories to our entire team, working behind the scenes and tech, etc., to make this thing happen. Thank you for your work. We will see you next year in the desert when the progression continues in free ride mountain biking. There's nothing else like it. Red Bull Rampage.